office as opposed to the Milwaukee office. So I'm in the same room as Nick as opposed to not in the same room, but across the glass from Dave Gasper in Milwaukee. So today's the Thanksgiving feast here at 1070 The Game, the Fish Hatchery Road Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked in today, Nick, and I just see the full setup. I'm like, I should have brought a pizza.
Yeah, I totally blanked on you being here today in conversation about that stuff. But yeah, Monica set up the table and the chairs and everything yesterday, set out the plates and everything. It's a real Thanksgiving feast here at iHeart here in Madison.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it happens at noon, though, so we'll be on the air.
Oh.
So I got out of the responsibility of bringing anything because I'm not necessarily going to be able to partake in it in its entirety. So
we'll just hear it in the other, it's 2 doors over.
And Doug's going to smell the great, sweet aroma of turkey for hours. He's going to be sitting here salivating at the thought of that turkey on the other side of the door.
I don't mind the smell of it, per se. It's just that it's dry and bland and tasteless.
Well, whoever they get it, Monica made it. So, I mean, I think that's the plan. She has gone the extra mile to
try not to insult Monica's cooking.
The meats.
Listen, I've never tasted Monica's cooking, so I can't insult it
That's
if I've never tasted it. So
she's not your mother-in-law. No, it's really cool. I think that this is an industry that can be cold. You know that more than any. Just with how long you've been working in it. So for them here, in my opinion, to go ahead and go the extra mile and put together a Thanksgiving meal for everybody and celebrate, being thankful that we're all here, some of which are thankful to still be employed. Right. There's a lot to give thanks for.
I got to see, some friends here that, so they asked, so what's going on? I'm like, hey, we're still here. We're still plugging away. We're still certainly on 1070 The Game in Madison. We're still on. Our great stations. We're on the Score in Appleton, the Fox Valley, of course, where I lived for a number of years, having gone to school at UW Oshkosh. We're still on in Eau Claire, which we love as well. So
in La Crosse as well.
We're still on
where
La
I went
Crosse,
to school for
where
a number
Dave
of years.
went to school.
We're not on in my hometown, but pretty close. Close enough. The Score's
might
close
be within
enough
range.
to rip in.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just go over WRPN where I started my first radio job ever, and we'll say, hey, you know what? Well, can you just take the show because you got a Ripon native, you got a WRPN. Well, it was WCWC at the time. Alum. Come on, let's do the right thing.
That station, what it is, built it up.
I doubt that. Lynn Krause was the program director back then.
Is that Dennis's sister?
No,
close.
Lind is a
Lind.
Lind.
That's a man.
Is a man.
I thought you said Lynn, and that could go both.
My neighbor when I was growing up, his name
Lynn
was
Dickey.
Lynn Dickey. There you go. There's another one.
Well, that's one of those names that's more male than female, but or more female than male. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I knew a girl named Michael once.
Oh, okay.
That was like, okay, I've never heard, female named Michael, but
that was the conceit of the confusion of the movie Euro Trip.
Yeah.
The 2000s classic.
I've seen it, but like I said, retention everything goes right over my head. And it's in one ear, out the other most of the time with movies. My mom's name is Tracy, which is often a name for both genders.
I went to high school with a Kim, who was a male.
Kim, that's okay. Marty is my aunt, which could both directions. Kelly is my other aunt, which could go both.
Kelly Sheffield.
My grandpa must just naming his female kids. Who
does he think he is?
Names.
Jason and Kylie Kelsey, because they name all their daughters. They give them all men, boys' names. So,
yeah, the naming epidemic has just gotten crazy.
Is anybody out there pregnant? Does anybody need any baby names? Hit us up on the talking text line.
We can be baby name fever here.
877-794-1973. Well,
we can make that our new job.
You never know. You never know. So listen, at one point there was like a baby epidemic that I wouldn't say epidemic makes it sound very pejorative.
Baby
there was
boom.
There was something. Yes,
boomers.
thank Des. Perfectly said, Dave. There was something in the water, as they say, over on Howard Avenue. It seemed like everybody was getting knocked up, but
even the men,
even the.
Yeah, I guess so. Most popular baby names this year. Yeah. Any guesses?
Liam.
Liam is second.
Okay.
In boys.
Noah
Isabella.
Is number one.
Noah's number one.
Noah's number one.
It's so
Isabella
predictable.
Taylor.
Nope.
Huh.
You have girls' names up there too?
Yeah, I do.
Where's Mackenzie?
Mackenzie. Not on the list, at
Okay.
least in the top 5.
Okay.
Number 1, Olivia.
Yeah, I can see that. Yep, that's one.
I'm scrolling to find Mackenzie or anything of that derivative. Kinsley
Okay.
is number
But the
65.
EIGH unnecessarily.
No.
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 Yeah, the EIGH, that's real popular nowadays.
I doubt Doug is a particular.
It never
Throwing a random Y
Nick,
into
it never was.
Yeah.
It's not a bad name.
We've never had a president Doug.
Yeah, I mean, Nick is not in the top 100. I'm sure some derivative of David is.
Have we ever had a president David? There's a Dwight David Eisenhower. But that was Dwight
There's
Eisenhower.
Dwight David Eisenhower. I think that's
Dave, you're 37.
Oh, right.
Number 37.
Well, it's a biblical name.
Yeah. It's popular. It's a good name.
So is Nicholas, but it's not on here.
All right, we got a lot to get to today, including baby names. We'll hear from Wisconsin football coach Luke Fickell coming up a little bit later on in the proceedings. He met the media ahead of we heard a little snippet of it in the open there, ahead of the Minnesota game coming up on Saturday, a 2:30 kickoff on, if you're listening to us in Madison, on 1310 WIBA. If you're listening to us in Milwaukee, well, you'd be listening to us on the iHeartRadio app if you're listening to us in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
It's on the big 95.7, where you can also hear Packers games as well. So that's where you can catch Badgers football. And again, depending upon where you're listening throughout the state of Wisconsin, you can catch it on the Badgers Sports Network property of stations. We'll hear from WXYT Radio's Jeff Rieger, our eye on the enemy, coming up in the 11 o'clock hour as the Packers get set to take on the Detroit Lions. And I do sports on a number of different iHeart radio stations, including on the big 95.7. And Kid O'Shea was asking me about the short week and what to expect in the short week. I said, I don't know. Listen, the short week is unpredictable for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's unpredictable for the teams. It's unpredictable, certainly for the broadcasters. It's unpredictable because it's Thanksgiving. And travel's been a little questionable in the last couple of months. So that's always, a question mark as well. At least you don't have to go that far. If you are a Packers fan and you're headed to Detroit, you might have to drive around the lake.
Now, I've never been to Michigan. I've never gotten
It's right next door
to that state. Never gone enough north to get to Michigan, and I've never gone.
Okay. It's not that unusual because my wife and I have been together in 43 states together.
Okay.
Michigan and Iowa are not either one of them.
Well,
Wow.
if you ask Billy, you're not missing out much on Iowa. So,
Well, Iowa's got a lot of corn.
it does.
I've been in Iowa
It's got
many
Field of
times.
Dreams. Yeah.
Well, but it's not the same Field of Dreams. They decided to
Corporatize it.
They corporatized it. They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. In other words, it was perfect, and they decided to
Ruin it.
ruin it.
Yeah.
There's a parable there. I think speaking of biblical, I think there's a biblical story about that.
Yeah.
About laying the golden egg or something like that.
Yeah. Or garden. That was great. And just don't do this one thing and doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exciting.
That's what they did. They decided that, you know what? The Field of Dreams is so special. We are going to commercialize it.
That's what we need.
I thought that, Tim Anderson, talk about a great moment a couple of years back, walk-off home run at the Field of Dreams game for the White Sox. And since then, his entire career has just been terrible and he's out of the league. It's just, at least he'll have that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was like as romantic as you can get about baseball with how they captured it, the fireworks, Field of Dreams. I think that's a good movie. I think that movie's better than Bull Durham.
Oh, okay.
Listen, can you like them both?
I did not like Bull Durham. I watched it like 2 months ago, and I did not enjoy it. I thought, you know what? This can be a good movie about baseball. Not about baseball.
Well, this is part. I mean, baseball's
there's a lot of
driving
baseball
force
in it.
behind it. There's
I
a lot
think
of
sex
baseball.
was the driving force of people.
Sex is the driving force behind most things. Have you listened to any music in the last 20?
Have you been alive?
24.
The best part about music is it's 3.5 minutes long. I don't need to watch an hour and even 45
that's too
minutes.
long, Nick. Okay.
Well, sometimes we're balling on a timeline. Come on, there's a deadline. But I personally I've never been even a Susan Sarandon guy. So you tell me you want to watch Bull Durham, I'm not particularly interested in watching that.
It's taken us 10 minutes to get off the rails today, Doug. So
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
that sounds about right. Patrick Herb's going to join us in the 12 o'clock hour. He'll hopefully bring. I mean, he always does. He always brings some credibility to the proceedings.
No doubt. Big weekend rivalry game, right? This is the longest rivalry of substance played every year since 1890.
In division, what is it, David? In FBS, it's the most played rivalry between two teams. So there are like some FCS rivalries that might go like maybe some Ivy League schools. Harvard and Yale might have a couple of more here and there, but in like the football bowl subdivision, I believe it's the most.
Played. The most played rivalries. So much history behind it, going back to 1890, and the series is tied at 63, 63, and 8.
That's bonkers.
Each side has won 63 times. Each side has lost 63 times, and they tied 8 times somehow. Thankfully, we don't have ties anymore, but still, that's incredible. Especially with the run of success that Wisconsin had over recent years, to have it be tied after all this time. And this is a tiebreaker. This is where you got to say, you know what? This series is ours. We're taking it back.
That's right.
Right?
And
am I right?
Only in 1906 have they not played since 1890. Oh, whatever happened in 1906. Unfortunately, it did not lend to a game being played that year.
They played through the COVID year, which I thought, that took some effort.
That might have been the Spanish flu year that they had.
How many times did that get pushed back? I thought it got pushed back multiple times.
It did
in 2020.
I believe it did,
because one team had COVID, then the other team had COVID. Yeah, December 19th it was played.
So. Wow.
I barely remember that.
2020 was such a weird year.
It was already 5 years ago.
I try to block it out of my memory.
I think everybody tries to.
I think I've seen a lot of people say there's like pre-2020 life and post-2020 life, and how everything has changed.
The generation before you, the demarcation of time is pre 9/11 and post 9/11, because 9/11 changed so many things. I mean, when I say to people of your age or younger that you didn't need a ticket to go and sit at the gate to collect your loved ones when they got off the plane, they would walk off the gangplank and you'd be right there because they would let you in without a ticket. People
I have no understanding of that.
You could have the movies and the TV shows where you're just kind of running up, trying to stop them from getting on the plane. You can get all the way to the gate, and you're not stopped at the TSA security line being, excuse me, take your shoes off. Where's your ticket? Where's your ID?
So
you can go through and put the hands up.
TSA wasn't a thing pre 9/11. Now you had to go through a metal detector. That was about it. That was the only security that you would have to go through. But they never checked your ID. They never checked your ticket. You just had to go through the metal detector, and that was it. TSA, Transportation Safety Administration, that was not a thing. Homeland Security was not a thing. It was not a department. It did not exist before 9/11. So that's one demarcation of time. And now 2020, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, that's the next demarcation of time. I don't know that anybody had a good 2020.
Well, see,
the pharmaceutical execs probably, but
I'm not trying to stick my neck out and make myself look like an ass, but 2020 was great for my friends and me, because all we did was sit at home and play video games in our basement all day, every day. Like it was the best, because the hardest part about growing up is it used to be when you're in middle school and high school, every night, all your buddies are on, you're playing together. And then you grow up, you have different things, and you all do different opportunities. And then when we're all stuck at home, it was like you turn on your PlayStation and 6 of your buddies are already ready to go. And you're like, oh, here we go. So I had a lot of fun during COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
College didn't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
The professors, the instructors didn't know what to do with their course plans. So they just scrapped a bunch of stuff my freshman year. Like, okay, we're just going to cut all this. Turns out your finals just going to be worth 40%. And okay, cool. And you don't have to take it if you already have a 90 plus. Oh, awesome. So I just got to do 2 hours of school every day. And then 2021, in my opinion, was the worst, because 2021, I was back in Madison, but doing remote classes in my apartment with 4 other roommates. So we were in a 2-bedroom apartment all day long on top of each other in terms of space.
I see.
Doing class, I had to share a desk with my roommate because it was like, you get the desk from 10 to 2. I get it from 2 to 4 because there wasn't any space for a desk otherwise. So that was way worse.
Wild.
Being trapped in a house. We had to get COVID tests every day to be allowed in the campus buildings.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So I was doing a COVID test every 24 hours. You had to pass it on your Badger app. You had to have a green light. Otherwise, you were barred from entering buildings.
How was your COVID? 877-794-1973.
And then the Packers lose in the championship game, too. I mean, it was
thanks.
2021.
I would have thought that would have brought you a smile.
Why would it bring me a smile?
Yeah.
Famous Steelers fan.
I mean, I'm not rooting against the Packers.
Yeah.
Unless
During
they
COVID,
play one another.
During COVID, I gained 20 pounds just by sitting at home drinking light beer all day.
How skinny were you prior?
I was going to say.
I mean, come on.
I got up to like 245.
I don't know what Fat David looked like.
I got up to like 245. Yeah.
No way. I mean, I guess that's spread out over a larger.
Yeah. I mean, when you're 6'8".
Yeah.
So what are you, like 220 now?
I'm about 225, 230 now.
Okay.
So.
And I'm like 190. So, I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you average that out. I probably would be heavier than Dave with my current BMI at his height. But
sure. And if you want to do something about that, you can call our friends at Madison Weight Loss. Go to MadisonWeightLoss.com.
Tell them Doug Russell sent you.
Tell them Doug Russell sent you. We're running a special right now. $400 off now through the end of the year. Rob Reichel will join us coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Bruisers Bites coming up as well. And a couple other things that are going on sports-wise. The Bucks are in complete free fall without Giannis. I would say that the way that the Bucks have played with Giannis this year has been acceptable, but not championship level. The way that they've played without Giannis has been abysmal. And considering the way that Oklahoma City continues to just steamroll through everyone in the NBA, the Bucks window, I am declaring today on, what is today? November 25th, 2025. It probably already has been shut. It's over.
Really?
It's over. It's over.
No.
It's over. Miles Turner is okay. He's not great.
Thank you. That was my big thing. Everyone ripped on me. When they added him, I was like, I think he's okay. I think he can be a good number 3, a great number 3, but he's not a number 2 option.
He was the only thing that they could do, though.
Probably fair. You could have traded Giannis.
And gotten what back in return?
Capital, players, a lot.
You will never get full market value in return.
All you're going to get is run out of town in 9 months like Nico Harrison.
Well, and John Horst wants to leave anyway, I think. So there's a win-win. Think about this. He had opportunities to go to Detroit. Look at how great Detroit is.
Yeah, Detroit's having a fantastic year.
I mean, they just won a franchise record 13th in a row, I think, or matched their franchise record. So the world is upside down right now. The Pacers have 2 wins.
The Pacers have 2 wins. They were in the NBA Finals last year. Detroit, who was god-awful a couple of years ago, they're running through the East. Oklahoma City is still Oklahoma City, and they're not showing any signs of slowing down. And the Bucks are 8-10. And they got run by a pretty mediocre team who also, by the way, it was nice to see Damian Lillard back in Milwaukee. He didn't play, of course.
They did that thank you post for him. My girlfriend was really confused. She said, well, isn't this like 6 months late? I said,
well, but he's back. He was back in town for the first time.
Thanking him again.
They're thanking him with $125 million for not playing over the next 5 years is how they're thanking him. The Bucks are in complete free fall. We'll hit that coming up straight ahead. Also, in the 11 o'clock hour, I want to ask the question, is the NFC North, is it a fraud? Is it overrated? Is it not what we have purported that it is? Because I see a lot of teams that are good in the NFC North, but if the playoffs were to begin right now, the team that everybody had anointed at the beginning of the season, the Detroit Lions, would not be in the playoffs. And we'll talk about the Lions coming up again. Jeff Rieger will join us, our eye on the enemy from WXYG Radio in Detroit at about 11:35. Stay with us. It's D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave, the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. Always open to you at 877-794-1973. It's the Game Radio Network.
6 feet apart. First thing that I'm going to do.
You are listening to D.N.D with Doug, Nick, and Dave. This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game.
Baby, right.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In June of 78, Darkness on the Edge of Town is released, Bruce Springsteen's follow-up to his breakthrough album, Born to Run. The album charts at number 5.
In the darkness on the edge of town. In the darkness on the edge of town.
Boston-based band The Cars released their debut album. It goes to number 18. It features the singles Just What I Needed and My Best Friend's Girl.
She's my best friend's girl. But she used to be mine.
In July of 78, the Rolling Stones released Some Girls in the U.S. The album and the single Miss You both hit number 1. In August of 78, Boston released their sophomore album, Don't Look Back. The album goes to number 1 in the U.S., selling 4 million copies in its first month.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
Low-budget film Easy Rider captures the public imagination with a soundtrack by Steppenwolf, the Byrds, and the Electric Prunes. The Woodstock Music and Art Fair is held August 15th through 18th on Max Yasgur's farm in Bethel. 32 of the biggest bands of the day played to a crowd estimated at 500,000. The event is later released as a movie and album. And with the boost from their appearance at Woodstock, San Francisco band Santana hits the top 10 with their debut album, Evil Ways. The festival undoubtedly immortalized Jimi Hendrix and ushered in the era of large rock concerts and arena rock bands. Also in October, Led Zeppelin have their only U.S. top 10 hit when Whole Lotta Love reaches number 4.
I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh, whole lot of love. Whole lot of love. Whole lot of love. Whole lot of love.
The Allman Brothers Band released their debut album on Capricorn Records to good reviews but limited sales. And 7 years after his last number 1, Elvis Presley tops the charts with Suspicious Minds.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up.
And now a look back at This Week in History on iHeartRadio.
This week in 1520, after sailing through the dangerous straits below South America that now bear his name, Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan enters the Pacific Ocean with 3 ships, becoming the first European explorer to reach the Pacific from the Atlantic. We jump way ahead, and this week in 1922, in Egypt's Valley of the Kings, British archaeologist Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon become the first souls to enter King Tut's tomb in more than 3,000 years. The sealed burial chambers were miraculously intact, and inside was a collection of several thousand priceless objects, including a gold coffin containing the mummy of the teenage king. This week in 1954, the first modern instance of a meteorite striking a human being occurs in Alabama, when a meteorite crashes through the roof of a house and into a living room, bounces off a radio, and strikes a woman on the hip. The victim, Mrs. Elizabeth Hodges, was sleeping on a couch at the time of impact. The space rock was a sulfide meteorite weighing 8.5 pounds and measuring 7 inches in length. And this week in 2004, after winning 74 straight games and more than $2.5 million, a record for U.S. game shows, Jeopardy contestant Ken Jennings loses. Jennings' extended winning streak gave the show a huge ratings boost and turned the software engineer from Salt Lake City into a TV hero and a household name. He is now the host of the show.
And that's what happened. Thanks for listening to This Week in History on iHeartRadio.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets. Place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
For breaking her heart. I'm free. Free falling. Yeah, I'm free.
Welcome back in, D.N.D. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzwitz, and Dave Gasper here on the Game Radio Network. Let's see. Asian Crystalani says he got married during the pandemic. 4/4/20 during the pandemic at Frame Park in Waukesha. My wife's best friend got ordained, and her sister and husband were there. Well, that's nice.
Oh, there we go. Well, congrats, Chris.
Was it in the Rose Garden at Frame Park in Waukesha?
I would imagine so. I mean, that'd be
Chris is a very friendly guy. He's always very friendly, very upbeat. So we appreciate you, and congrats, of course, to Chris on your marriage.
Mike, yes, absolutely.
5 years now they've been together.
A little over 5 years.
5.5.
Yeah.
Mike and Merrill, one of the most unique and stupid names I ever ran across about 20 years ago was ABCD, pronounced ABCD. ABCD.
Oh,
Obesity.
Obesity.
They got you. That's a terrible name.
Okay.
I saw Asian Chris said future baby name Waukesha, like Waukesha, but Waukesha.
Waukesha, I believe.
Oh, Waukesha.
Yeah, it's
Like
like
the singer?
Kesha, the singer. Yeah.
That's even better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. 2020 was good for billionaires. Phil and Merrimack, right? It's kind of to your point.
Yeah.
Nick, it was good for the
Dave said that, yeah.
Yeah, the pharmaceutical
the
execs.
the pharmaceutical company.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys had a great time. The rest of us,
Yeah.
not so much.
No, the Bucks, they didn't have a great time. They got bounced in the playoffs in the bubble,
That is right. They were the 1 seed and they lost to the 8 Heat.
and the Bucks didn't win the NBA championship until the next year. I think what Bucks fans need to do, and yes, I'm working on the stream a little bit.
You're good.
The Bucks have to realize that it's going to have to be one and done as far as championships. The window's closed. There's no way that they can get it back together because Giannis is going to be a free agent in 2 years. The Bucks will probably trade him this coming off season. They're going. It pains me to say this because I think the Bucks have done everything that they possibly could do to maximize what they could do with Giannis, and I admire them for that. I admire the ownership for putting up the $125 million over the next 5 years to waive Damian Lillard, to stretch him out, to bring in Miles Turner, because this was not a good free agent class. Miles Turner was the best free agent that was in the class, and he's okay. He's good. He's fine. He's not a bad player. He's better than I think anything else that they were going to bring back because Brook Lopez is at the end of his career, and he's going to finish that out in California, where he's from. He's a Los Angeles native, went to Stanford. So he's a California guy, and he's going to finish out with the Clippers.
Turner was the 4th best player on an NBA Finals team last year, right? I would argue Andrew Nembhard is better than him, and Aaron Naismith's incredible at times as well. And so you saw Tyrese was the star for the Pacers. Siakam is clearly the best of the rest. And this year without Tyrese, the Pacers are bad. So credit to them. I think we spent a lot of time talking about how overrated Halliburton is, the clutch factor that he had, and how inevitably it would run out. And it hasn't. I mean, he just got hurt. But when you look at the Bucks, I completely understand the hesitation. I thought it made sense to move off of Giannis. I thought it made sense to trade him prior to this season. And they don't have a first-round pick until 2030, if I'm not mistaken. So if you get multiple firsts back from somebody and pair that with an additional player, an asset, I mean, Kevin Durant yielded the Suns Jalen Green and additional draft compensation. And Jalen Green's not a superstar, but he's a really good player. So if Giannis is available, you'd think the package is a player of the caliber of Jalen Green, certainly, and first-round draft picks. So there's going to be opportunity to move him. I think Kavika has had this one for a while, and I do think this is certainly unrealistic, but it's worth a thought experiment. He has said Chet Holmgren from the Thunder and first-round draft picks. They have 1 million picks in OKC. I just don't know if they'd be willing to part with Chet for Giannis to mess up the chemistry they've built. They're a 1-loss team at this point. They're coming off a championship. It wouldn't make sense for them to do that.
They have no reason to do that.
But somebody would.
Yes, but they have no reason to because they don't need Giannis. Would Giannis make them a better player or a better team? Perhaps.
Maybe.
But how much better can you get when you're 17-1 and coming off an NBA championship where you were the prohibitive favorite going into it? And you've got a young team right now that's only going to continue to rack up at least championship caliber season after championship caliber season. It's going to be one after another for their cycle, however long their cycle lasts. I've said this about the Bucks and why Bucks fans shouldn't necessarily be that upset now that the window is closed. I mean, let's honestly. It's over. Let's look at it. It's over. You know who else has taken big swings that hasn't resulted in a championship? Houston. You know who else has taken big swings that hasn't resulted in a championship? Phoenix. Minnesota hasn't won a championship. The LA Clippers, they take swing after swing after swing. Right now they're 5-12, so they're not having a great season.
Well, and the Thunder have their pick. The Thunder have the Clippers pick.
Yeah. And the Thunder, up until this year, they were taking swings as well. Now, it worked out for them. The Nuggets were a put up or shut up team for a long time until they finally broke through and won a championship. The Bucks did, and they have that as opposed to all of these other teams. Philadelphia continues to take swing after swing after swing, and they've come up empty. So, I mean, Orlando has been this team that's going to be on the cusp for, this could be Orlando's year, and it never is. The Bucks got theirs. The Bucks had a championship. Championships are forever. The Bucks got the trophy. The Bucks got the parade down Wisconsin Avenue. I hope everybody was there who was able to be there, and I hope we took a lot of good pictures because it ain't coming back.
Yeah.
And that's the argument for moving off Giannis.
Yeah, it is. But as you mentioned, Doug, I mean, being able to get there, because I mean, for the longest time, the Bucks were that team where it's like, they're not going to get there. No chance. Not going to be able to see it come to fruition. And so many teams have these windows where they put it together and they don't end up winning a title. They don't end up winning the NBA finals. So to get one, because for the longest time we were saying just get one. That's all we need. Just one something, because we haven't seen it since 1971. It had been so long. It had been since Kareem was here. And now, you have the one. It's like, okay. In time, I think maybe we'll look back, be like, okay, like that was great for what it was. But as soon as you got the one, everyone's like, well, okay, well, now where's number two? Now you need number two. Now you need to make that. Now you need the second one to be actually successful, when I think you had the success when you just got the first one.
But that's the greed of sports fans, right?
Yeah.
Because what's the one thing that we all talk about? Let's cross sports for a second. The one lament that Packers fans have about the last two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Oh, you had a Hall of Fame quarterback in Brett Favre. Why didn't you rack up 5 championships like the Patriots did? Why didn't you rack up multiple Super Bowls with Aaron Rodgers? Like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have been able to do. Why can't you just run it back? Like, well, I mean, are there missed opportunities? Mm-hmm. Have there been missed opportunities? Sure, there have been missed opportunities. 100% there have been missed opportunities. Yep. But winning one here's your obvious statement of the day. Winning one's better than not winning any. And winning one is hard. Running it back is harder. Listen, one championship isn't going. You look at the Bulls and their back-to-back three-peats. You look at what the Golden State Warriors were able to do. You look at all the championships that the San Antonio Spurs were able to win with Greg Popovich, and that group led by Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and David Robinson for a couple of them earlier on. Those are great, and they will be remembered forever. But you still got one. You're still the Dallas Mavericks, I suppose, of the Eastern Conference. You jumped up, you got your championship, and now I don't know that it's time to trade Giannis, because once you trade Giannis, then you're going to have a lot of empty seats at Fiserv Forum.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to completely go in the tank. So
there was overlap between them, but the Mavs move off of Dirk retires.
Well,
and Luka comes in. I mean, there's nothing to be said here where the Bucks can't find another superstar. I mean, their track record in the draft.
Just don't give him away like the Mavs did with Luka.
Right.
Yeah. But then you end up with Cooper Flag. So, it's going to end up being fine,
from a Bucks.
You could have had them both, though.
You could have.
Is probably true, but if they had Luka, I think they would have certainly finished higher in the standings. Maybe they would have made the postseason. Yeah. I mean, it would have been a long shot. They tried that 2 years ago, I think, if not 3 years ago now, with Kyrie and Luka down the stretch. They tanked so that they could fall into the lottery. They got Isaiah Likely. No, not Likely. What's his name? Lively, the big man. And they went to the finals the next year. When you look at what the Bucks are right now, the concern for me, the reason why you hold Giannis is because there is nobody on your roster that inspires confidence about being a franchise leader moving forward.
Right.
And
Nobody.
No one. And they haven't drafted well outside of Giannis.
So they haven't drafted at all because they've been so good.
So I pulled up their draft picks, what they have coming up. They do have a first rounder in 26, 27, 28, and 30. 26, 27, 28, and 30. But all of them are subject to swap with an opposing team. So they're going to get the worst of 2 draft picks in every one of those drafts in the first round, right? So that's not ideal, right? So New Orleans is in a deal this year. So the Bucks will either get New Orleans first round draft pick or their own, depending on which one New Orleans wants. And the Pelicans are bad, so they'll pick their own pick. And so then the Bucks will be subject to wherever they fall. And this is a hell of a draft class this year. So if you can get into this draft, if you can get more capital for this year's draft selections, I think you do it.
Yeah.
Red Hot Tim.
I was just going to. It's hard to see because the stream's kind of being
Doug's a little laggy on the stream, so we're
it's hard to kind of see. But yeah, even if you do get the extra draft picks, can we trust John Horst with them? Because when he's made these draft picks in recent years, none of them have really gone well. Ever since Giannis.
That's true. Well, they had a rookie. The only draft choice that they had that turned out well. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon was rookie of the year, but he was also a second round draft choice. So that was kind of catching lightning in a bottle there. But, they thought they had something with Thon Maker. That didn't work out. Yeah. They thought they had something with Jabari Parker as the number 2 overall pick the year after Giannis got drafted because the Bucks only won 15 games. And yes, he blew out his knee, but I don't know that would have helped his defense, which was about the worst defense that anyone has ever tried to play. Red Hot Tim Not writes on the talk and text line, well, that was depressing. Does this segment come with a free Xanax?
Yeah. Well, so let me try and flip it to a positive. If Giannis decides that he wants to stick around with this franchise this season, it would seem to suggest that he is a lifer, right? If this is not the last year for him in Milwaukee and he decides he wants to keep running it back, then we have seen loyalty that has no limit, that this is the team where he wants to be. And I think that's a win for Bucks fans as well. This gray area where you're living in what's best for the franchise, what does Giannis actually want is the hardest part. If he says, I'm just a Buck for life, then you wrap your head around it and you say, okay, no matter what. Because people are watching these games and they're feeling that pit in their stomach. Like, we dropped another one. Why would Giannis want to be here? We dropped another one. Are we good enough for Giannis to even want to stay the rest of the year? We keep dropping games. It's 5 straight losses for the Bucks. They've lost 6 of 7 overall. This is a team that is not playing well. Charlotte took overtime to beat, and that's one of the worst teams in the league. Pacers just beat them. Pacers have 2 wins. The Bucks are in trouble without Giannis, and it's just a matter of time before he's able to return. It's just how much of a hole are they going to be in? The silver lining is that the East is terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
And that if they go on a run, win 16 of 20, you're going to climb the ranks pretty quickly.
Yeah, Alex 007 in Cambria writes, unless we get an NHL team, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's not getting an NHL team.
That'd be cool.
Would be nice, but not expecting it. But remember a couple of weeks ago when
I can run through all the reasons why if you'd like, but it's not going to happen. Go on.
Yeah. You remember a couple of weeks ago when Giannis, he had whatever it was, a dunk or something else, and he's just kind of shouting to the crowd. He's like, "This is my city. I ain't leaving you." Remember that? That was
Did he
only
say,
a couple
I ain't
weeks.
leaving you?
I thought so, but he certainly said,
that,
this is my city.
My city. That's what he said.
You know what? It's still going to be a city after he leaves.
And it's still going to be his city.
Giannis is going to be the face of the Bucks for a long time after he leaves.
Yeah. I mean, he until someone supplants him, he's the face of Milwaukee sports for however long.
Yeah,
I mean, post career.
Him and Sal Frelick.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Giannis is a global superstar. excuse me. He's known. He's a celebrity in every corner of the globe. He has made people who had no idea what a Milwaukee was to understand that a Milwaukee is a city that has an NBA franchise. And you can't replicate that. But as much as he wants to say, this is my city, and it will probably continue to be his city, he'll probably always have some sort of presence here, but he's moved his family back to Greece. Mariah and the kids are in Athens because that's where he wants to, and I don't blame him. Listen, he's from there. He wants to go back home after his playing career is over. He has made the turn. He will forever be remembered no matter what else he does as an NBA player. Like Karl Malone played for the LA Lakers, if you recall, which you probably don't, but he'll always be a Utah Jazz.
Yeah, him and Gary Payton, right?
Gary Payton, former Buck as well, also played for the LA Lakers, but Gary Payton will always be known as a Seattle Supersonic.
Michael Jordan on the Wizards.
Michael Jordan, God, forgot about that one. Michael Jordan on the Wizards. Giannis will always be a Milwaukee Buck. I think it's better. It has become better for probably both sides. Certainly Giannis to seek out a trade after the season is over. Somebody brought up Kareem, and can he come and coach the Bucks while Giannis is still here? Why?
I don't know. I don't know if Kareem wants to coach.
Kareem's never coached. Kareem is he's in his mid to late 70s. Be careful what you ask for. You might just get it. But the thing about Kareem, when he left the Bucks, it's because he went to team ownership and said, hey, I don't want to be part of a rebuild. Can you trade me? I'm going to give you a year. No hard feelings. We did some great things together. Won 3 MVPs, got to 2 finals, won one of them, but Oscar's retired and I can't do this. I don't want to be part of this. And the Bucks said, okay, we'll try to get as much for you as we can. Did they get fair market value? Absolutely not. Did they get a boatload of players in return? Yes. 2 of them have their numbers hanging from the rafters at Fiserv Forum. But was it fair market value? Not even close. That's probably what you're looking at with Giannis right now.
Well, the longer they wait, the worse the package. So
yeah, you're right.
If they're backing themselves into that corner, I can't, hold the league accountable and say the league screwed them. That's on them.
Yep.
No,
you got to make this move if that's the move you're going to make.
Yeah, but also you can't do it unless he publicly, unless he demands it, unless he asks for it, like Kareem
publicly
did.
or privately.
You can, but it's going to be much worse for you with the fan base, because if the fan base sees, oh, Giannis is asking for a trade, he wants out, then you're going to be a bit more able to get out of there. Unlike, say, the Mavericks with Luka Doncic, when he was not asking for a trade and then gets shipped out of there, then the fan base hates you and you're fired within 9 months.
The Mavs were in the finals the year before. That's the difference to me. The Bucks have been going in the wrong direction for a series of years now.
They haven't got out of the first round of the playoffs since.
Yeah.
So it's been a rough couple of years. All right. Keep them coming on the NickLayLaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. You guys are piling them up like planes on a tarmac. We will knock some of those down when we come back. Coming up a little bit later on in the program, we'll hear from Wisconsin football coach Luke Fickell. Also, is the NFC North division a fraud? And WXYT Radio's Jeff Rieger, our eye on the enemy in the 11 o'clock hour as well. Stay with us. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, Dave Gasper, right here on the Game Radio Network.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Here are the top Bryan Adams songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Run to You.
When it gets too much, I need to feel your touch. I'm gonna run to you. I'm gonna run to you. 'Cause when the feeling's right, I'm gonna run all night. I'm gonna run to you.
Number 2, Heaven.
Baby, you're all that I want. When you're lying here in my arms, I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven.
Number 1, Summer of '69.
Standing on your mama's porch, you told me that it lasts forever. Oh, when you held my hand, I knew that it was now or never. Don't
Hear more from Bryan Adams and similar artists now. Search for Bryan Adams on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1972.
He was singing bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove a Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys drinking whiskey and ride, singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die.
1972, Don McLean goes to number 1 with the single and album American Pie. Paul Simon's solo debut gives him a top 10 hit, Mother and Child Reunion. Fast forward to March, where Neil Young has a number 1 album and a number 1 single with Heart of Gold. And Deep Purple released their quintessential album Machine Head, which goes to number 1 in the UK, number 7 in the US, and features the classic hit Smoke on the Water.
Smoke on the water, a fire in the sky. Smoke on the water.
Also in March, the band America releases their debut album. It goes to number 1 and yields a number 1 single with Horse with No Name.
See, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
Angie, ain't it time we said goodbye?
The Rolling Stones are back on top with the number 1 album in the US and the UK and a number 1 single, Angie.
Come on, baby.
Let's Get It On is a number 1 single and a number 2 album for Marvin Gaye. Also in August of 73, Stevie Wonder is back with the number 4 album, Inner Visions.
Won't you fly free, bird, yeah.
Fast forward to October, where on their 8th album, the Steve Miller Band debut a smooth blues rock sound and score number 1 hit with The Joker.
I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up.
D.N.D continues on this day before Thanksgiving, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. We've got a full show for you tomorrow as well. No show on Thursday, and then a half show on Friday. We'll be on from 10 until noon talking about the Packers' hopeful win over the Detroit Lions the day before, and also previewing the Badgers taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, and Dave Gasper. Keep them coming on the talk and text line 877-794-1973. On the talk and text line, Wayne in Nash Vegas. If the Bucks trade Giannis, the NBA won't gift the Bucks the one draft trade. Let me try that again. If the Bucks trade Giannis, the NBA won't gift the Bucks the 1 draft pick like they did when LeBron left and like they did with Dallas this past year.
Yeah, you think that there's some level of collusion there between the league and the franchises. That's what Wayne feels. I don't think that's the case, but I mean, it is interesting to see how Cleveland got the number 1 pick when LeBron left to go to Miami, and Luka trade to LA ends up in a number 1 pick for the Mavs.
Yeah, certainly the NBA would never have any games that are rigged, right? In terms of poker or lottery or otherwise.
Well, they have a credibility problem.
Yeah,
that's right. Right now, their athletes and their coaches are the issue, though. I mean,
well, it was the referees, though. With Tim, if you go back to Tim Donaghy, I don't remember another league that had as famous a refereeing scandal, as the NBA did.
Yeah, the NFL's was just getting the replacement refs in there, and that was their scandal. They were
the
terrible.
umps are just bad in baseball. I mean, so I guess that's the credibility problem.
Hey, Angel Hernandez was finally forcibly retired, so. We saved that. And now we got the ABS coming in next year for baseball. So that should solve that. But
thank goodness.
For now.
Just tap your head.
Until they get rid of it. Until it doesn't work.
Well, there are some unions that I don't know why they hold the power that they have, and the Baseball Umpires Union is probably at the top of that list because most of them are pretty good, but they were also protecting the terrible ones, like the Angel Hernandez's of the year. I forget the female umpire that they had last year, and I'm not.
Whoa,
Jen,
no, I'm not.
Paywall.
Yeah, her first game was brutal. Now
Yeah,
I don't know
her
how much
first
she
call
improved.
was tough.
I mean, 6 inches off the plate, strike.
Well, she was getting ready to go. She was amped up.
I guess
she's a trailblazer.
Listen, I'm not. If you're qualified, I don't care what your gender is. If you're qualified to referee a men's, whatever, I don't know it. No issue there. But it stands out in my mind just because she was so terrible that first game. I assume that she got a little bit better, but Major League Baseball has been doing this for generations. They've been pumping up terrible umpires. Yes, Angel Hernandez was forcibly retired at some point, but after how many decades of just being a rabbit ears instigator? Umpires should never be instigators. Umpires are supposed to be the ones that calm everything down. They're supposed to be the ones that administer the games, not make themselves part of the game. Umpires, I would say this officials in all sports, it is their duty, their responsibility to be invisible.
Yeah. And I think they were also part of why instant replay and like review took so long to actually get implemented, because the umpires didn't want to be second guessed on a lot of those calls. And it's like, hey, yeah, we made the call and you're just gonna have to deal with it. You're just gonna have to argue and scream your head off at us.
And the reason, Dave, and you know this as well as anyone, the reason that the replay system in Major League Baseball was so terrible at the beginning wasn't because they didn't have the information to overturn the calls. It's because there was another umpiring crew that was making those calls. That was part of their rotation. Instead of, like, say, you go to Cincinnati for one series, and then you go to Pittsburgh, and then you're out to Anaheim, and then up to Seattle, and then your rotation goes through New York, where you are part of the replay crew. So it was umpires who were judging other umpires, and they didn't want to do that.
Good call.
They didn't want to overturn their brethren because that would have looked bad on them. And that's the only reason that Major League Baseball had such a problem with replay. It was clear to everyone in the world that the guy was out, but I'm not going to overrule my guy. He's my guy. I've known the guy for 25 years. He's my boy, so I'm not going to overturn him. I'm not going to make him look bad. And you're just making the whole system absurd.
Galarraga would love for repeat of his opportunity. Should have been a perfect game.
Still should be. They should go back and retroactively give it to him. I know they'll never do it, but because we can't do that.
Yeah, but I think that's something as well that kind of pushed everyone's like, okay, why can we not have instant replay review here and make the change at the call? Because it was just ridiculous.
Mike in Kenosha writes about Giannis. His unavailability is as much of a problem as the rest of the roster. Part of the Bucks' downfalls need to be partially blamed on Giannis. I think it's tough to blame anybody for an injury. I don't blame Chris Middleton when he got injured. I don't blame Dame for getting injured. That's tough. That's tough to hang on somebody.
There's an argument to be said. He plays such a physical brand, and he's been hurt a lot.
But that's his brand. That's what made him Giannis.
You should jump ship before it collapses.
Maybe. All right. It's D.N.D. Doug, Nick, and Dave. Hour number 1 down. 3 hours to go. Stay with us on the game.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game. iHeartRadio.
Life in the fast lane.
He was too tired to make it. She was too tired to fight about it. Life in the fast lane. Surely make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane. Life in the fast lane. Everything, all the time.
Number 2, take it easy.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels make you crazy. Come on, baby. Don't say maybe.
Number 1, Hotel California.
There were voices down down the corridor, I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place.
Hear more from the Eagles and similar artists now. Search for the Eagles on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. iHeartRadio. Here are the top John Mellencamp songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Hurt So Good.
Hurt so good. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Sometimes love don't feel like it should, baby. Hurt so good.
Number 2, Small Town.
No, I cannot forget from where it is that I come from. I cannot forget the people who love me. Yeah, I can be myself here in this small town. And people let me be just what I want to be.
Number 1, Jack and Diane.
Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Walk on.
Hear more from John Mellencamp and similar artists now. Search for John Mellencamp on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1972.
In May, the Rolling Stones spent the year recording in southern France and released the double album Exile on Main Street. It goes to number 1 in both the US and the UK. California band the Doobie Brothers score a hit off their second album, Toulouse Street, with the single Listen to the Music. More from the summer of 72, Curtis Mayfield is back on the charts with a soundtrack for the film Superfly. The album yields 2 top 10 hits with Freddy's Dead and the title track. And former Zombies keyboardist Rod Argent has a hit album and a number 5 single in the US and the UK with Hold Your Head Up.
Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up.
Harry Chapin's performance of the song Taxi on The Tonight Show 2 nights in a row leads to a hit. And struggling UK band Mott the Hoople get help from fan David Bowie, who produces their album and writes them a hit, All the Young Dudes, which peaks at number 3 in the UK and in the top 40 in the States.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1975.
In November, Queen's 4th album is a worldwide smash with the single Bohemian Rhapsody. It hits number 1 in the UK and number 4 in the US. Fast forward to December, Bob Marley and the Wailers released their live album recorded at 2 concerts in London in July. And Paul Simon has a number 1 album with Still Crazy After All These Years. The album produces 4 top 10 hits.
Hop on the bus, cause you don't need to discuss much. Just drop off the key and get yourself free.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up.
Listen to us live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app and watch our shows each weekday on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We are the game.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Well, the Bucks struggle bus continues with a loss last night to the Trailblazers. Bobby Portis had a good game, though, with 22 points. Here's Doc Rivers.
It's a tough.
Bucks end up losing 115-103 to the Trailblazers.
Yeah, it's not looking great for the Bucks right now, as we
Yeah.
talked about a lot in the first hour. By the way, obviously, no Carry the G radio today. Aaron was traveling, as I came to understand yesterday. So we talked about the Bucks a lot in the first hour of the program. They're not a good basketball team. They're a good basketball team with Giannis. They're a playoff basketball team with Giannis. Without Giannis, they're quite mediocre.
Well, and they're in trouble right now. I think that there's value in getting Kevin Porter Jr. back as well and highlighting what his value is to the team, right? He got hurt early in the season, hasn't been back quite yet. So there is a level of reinforcement returning to this team, but
if you're going to contend, you need superstars.
If the season ended today, and it won't, and with Giannis back, they'll make the playoffs. But if the season ended today, they're not even in the play-in. They're the 11th team, and they're not even in the play-in. And that's a problem. That just tells you that the quality of roster around Giannis is going to leave at some point. You haven't built anything.
You haven't had the opportunity, though, either, because how many teams are able to build good, great, young teams? Doesn't happen very often. Right now, you've got that going in Oklahoma City. Detroit had to wander in the wilderness for a long time before. And listen, they haven't won anything yet.
Right.
I mean, they've won some regular season games.
They're a competitive basketball team now, though.
Oh, they're very good. I mean, listen, I don't want to take anything away from the start of the season that they've had, but the regular season means nothing in the NBA. And you can also go in the tank very quickly. Look at we brought up the Indiana Pacers as an example. I mean, they're awful right now, and they were in the NBA Finals a year ago. But right now, the Indiana Pacers are 2-15. Right now, the Washington Wizards are 1-15. There's a lot of bad basketball teams. You know what? Another team that took a lot of big swings, Brooklyn Nets. They haven't won squat, and right now they're 3-14. They've taken swing after swing after swing. They haven't been able to win squat.
Took too many swings, big swings, didn't work.
Yeah. And had a shoe size just too big.
What a shame. The Damian Lillard deal, I think if we ran that back in a different simulation over and over and over and over again, I do think that they got one of the more suboptimal outputs. I think that this was borderline as bad as it could have gone for them with a star level player like Dame. Yeah. It did not work.
It didn't, but it was a swing. And I will always err on the side of taking some big swings.
Giannis got hurt. He got hurt. Giannis was hurt. He got hurt.
Yeah.
They never got it put together. And to your point about the Nets, I think it was something like 16 total games with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden healthy. And that was what they were supposed to be built from. And it just never panned out.
Yeah, it did not. It also did not pan out for the Carolina Panthers last night as 49ers beat them on Monday Night Football 20-9. And the game ended in a bit of a scuffle as Juwan Jennings went up and punched Trevon Moehrig in the face during post-game handshakes. Kyle Shanahan said afterwards that he saw Moehrig take a cheap shot below the belt at the Family Jewels there for Juwan Jennings. And that is what led to the punch. So a little extracurriculars at the end of Monday Night Football.
Juwan got hit in the ding-a-ling, and he responded accordingly. I think that if Mike Tomlin was asked about this, he'd give the same answer that he gave when Jamar Chase spit on Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah,
what you got to do? I got nothing for you.
You get spit on, you get kicked in the nuts. I mean, you respond however you deem fit.
As Wisconsin sports fans, we're getting used to proverbially being kicked in the nuts.
That's right. We've been used to that for years.
Right, but you don't necessarily get it literally.
I mean, there's Minnesota fans have nuts left. Like, I know that the Packers fans are getting hit because we're in the thick of it, or Bucks fans or Brewers fans. But like fans in markets where they're non-competitive, is it not a kick in the nuts because there's just tangibly no opportunity there typically?
When was the last time the city of Minneapolis or the state of Minnesota literally won anything big? Was it the Twins in 91? Vikings haven't won a Super Bowl.
Have the Minnesota Wild won anything?
No.
The Timberwolves have never won an NBA championship. They've had some good teams. They've had some great players, but they've never won a championship. I think the last time they won anything was 91. And before that was 87. And before that was never.
At the pro level, yeah.
I said big. I don't mean like the with all due respect to like women's soccer or
women's hockey
or minor league hockey or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, with all due respect, we're talking about the majors. We're talking about major professional sports.
Right.
Yeah.
But is that not like a daily kick in the nuts? Like wake up and realize my teams all suck every year. I mean,
So, hey, listen,
your medicine.
some towns get it worse than others. I mean, until the Cavaliers broke through with LeBron a few years ago, that was the lament of the Cleveland sports fan because the Indians hadn't won anything. Now Guardians hadn't won anything since I think 47 or 48. The Browns were a good team in the pre-Super Bowl era, but that was a lifetime and a half ago.
right.
Yep. And they haven't won anything since.
I haven't won anything since.
Well, Niners fans, I mean, they've been kicked in the nuts 3 times in the last 15 years.
True.
Super Bowl loss, Super Bowl loss, Super Bowl loss.
But they had the 80s.
Well, yeah, but like I wasn't alive, and I think now you probably say more Niners fans weren't alive than were. I mean,
Oh, I don't know if I go that far, but it was.
I mean,
I
it's
would
been
say
40 years, right?
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's middle age.
That is middle age. I
That's
suppose.
Armin. It's been Armin's lifetime since. I mean, it's been Armin's lifetime since they won a Super Bowl.
That's a good point
for the Niners.
There are still some Packers fans that remember the 60s. I mean,
No, definitely. And
I was not born yet.
I wish I would have lived that, right? That lived experience is such value in this industry in particular, right? Like Dave and I and Doug, to a degree, we all fight a little bit of an uphill battle because we didn't see it all.
Sure.
Right. So, you know, the glory days of sports talk radio were with guys who saw what had happened since the beginning, essentially, of these leagues.
There's nobody left. I'm trying to figure out who the last Packers working reporter was that actually covered Lombardi. And I'm struggling to figure out because even Cliff Crystal, who's the official Packers historian, he didn't get on the scene until 1970. And Vince had, he died in 70.
Yeah.
And he was long gone from Green Bay by then. So I'm trying to think who it might have been. It might have been Jim Irwin, who did cover Lombardi, but Jim's been dead for 12 years, 13 years now.
And you'd have to have been born in the late 40s, probably.
Mark Daniels, who still does some work for us on Packers Game Day, those great historical pieces that he does. He didn't start covering the team. I mean, this sounds late, but he didn't start covering the team until 1979. And Mark is retired. So I can't remember who the last working reporter that covered the Lombardi era was. Like I said, it might have been Jim. It might have been Bud Lee. But other than that, I mean, nobody's left.
Yeah.
Most of them are dead.
So that's essentially, kind of the point here for me is like, my semblance of the Packers, I wasn't even alive when they were in the Super Bowl against the Broncos. So, I mean, I've seen one Super Bowl.
Well, that's the one to miss. If you're going to miss one of them, miss Super Bowl 32.
Well, I don't remember 31, right?
Yeah.
So it's just 45, and 45, I'm 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's fair.
My life, different perspective. Where did we start with this? Juwan get kicked in the nuts? Yeah.
Yep.
Something about getting kicked in the
nuts. Way to respond.
Yeah.
Juwan Jennings is a little bit of a hothead at times, but it kind of comes with the territory being wide out.
Yeah, and he might have a good reason for it as well. And more NFL news. The Saints are signing former Packers wide receiver Samori Toure to their practice squad. So Samori finds himself a home there.
Good for him.
And some news breaking here in the last hour. The St. Louis Cardinals have traded Sonny Gray to the Boston Red Sox for 2 pitchers, Brandon Clark and Richard Fitz. The Cardinals are also sending $20 million to Boston as well. So Sonny Gray, who has given the Brewers fits over the past couple of seasons with the Cardinals, he now goes to the AL East. And Boston was a kind of a talked about potential landing spot for Freddie Peralta, but now they get a different frontline starting pitcher in Sonny Gray.
It's almost like the Brewers, when there's somebody who beats them time after time after time, that's usually who they wind up and going out and getting.
Yeah.
Just so they don't have to don't have to face them anymore.
Yeah.
It's a good plan. I mean, if that's the reason why you're losing, if you can add it to your side, it's a win.
You're tired of Jose Quintana beating you, just sign Jose Quintana.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
could be good. Maui also writes back, if you like big swings, you must hate the Brewers owners. Different economics.
Yep. That's why you need a salary cap.
System.
Need a salary cap. Just saying. But that's
good for Sonny. I think that he's a hell of a player. I can't quite remember if he's ever really been put in a position to compete for a World Series. I mean, he's been in many different locations, the Reds, the Cardinals.
Yankees, he was with the Yankees.
A's, Twins, right?
Yeah,
If
he
I'm
was
not
with the
mistaken.
Yankees.
Yeah, but he was terrible there, and that was like in that stretch where I think that was pre-Judge or early Judge, where
17 and 18.
Right. So very early Judge. Judge might have should have won an MVP, but Altuve got it. So yeah, I guess it's an opportunity. The Red Sox are a good team. They have a really solid core. I think they have a great manager, obviously embroiled in some of that stuff with cheating in 2018 with the Red Sox, where he got a year suspension. So who knows?
Yeah.
Out of the division, that's a win.
Yeah.
For me and for you.
Yeah.
Brewers fans and Cubs fans with that Arnold meme right now.
Yeah. Get the handshake. But yeah, he had a full no trade clause, and he's like, I'm going to waive it. Get me out of here. I don't want to be in St. Louis any longer. So I wonder how long until Nolan Arenado is next, because he also said he wants out. He's willing to waive his no trade clause to get out of there.
What's his value now?
I don't know. He's been declining the last couple of years, and he still has a bunch of money on his contract heading into next year. But I'd imagine he'd still have some value because
Still very good defensively, right? Not
he's declining a little bit there. He's got 2 years left. He's 34 years old, going to be 35 next season, making $27 million next year, $15 million a year after that. And yeah, I believe his stats have been in pretty solid decline the last couple of seasons. This past year, hit 237, 289 on base percentage.
That ain't great.
But you know that there's a hell of a player in there, and I think it's
5 years ago.
But it's pretty common when you get put in a better situation, a more competitive situation, you play better.
But
that's just kind of where it's at.
But also,
how
when
many
you're
of these
hitting
terrible
35,
players have the Brewers gotten put in a competitive team and they've delivered? And it's credit to the coaching staff, of course, but it's also human nature. If I'm in a spot where I feel like, okay, this is legit, we're competitive, we're a good team, I think you're going to perform better.
But Nolan Arenado was also good back when he was on the Colorado Rockies, and they were never competitive for anything.
Well, when he was there, they were good.
When he was there, they were somewhat decent. But it's also, he's going to be 35. I mean, he's on the back nine of his career. He's heading towards the end of it. And he may just simply be in decline, just not as good of a hitter as he was before.
As he once was. You know, he ain't as good as he once was.
But he was good once as he ever was.
I knew that was coming.
He was.
You set him up on a tee on that.
And I think that you have to look at him for what he is, and he's got great power potential. I know he hasn't been as good, but I mean, there's still value there. I mean, Nelson, transition him into a DH. Put him at DH. I mean, find a way. Milwaukee,
a 35-year-old, $27 million. Well, at least for
Nelson Cruz was what, 43? I mean, Poppy was 50. I mean,
Christian Yelich is essentially a 34-year-old, $27 million DH. So
there you go.
But you signed him 5 years ago, though, too. 6 years ago.
Well, when did Nolan get that deal?
Nolan got that deal several years ago.
But what's Christian Yelich's? If Christian Yelich was available, what's his market value? It ain't very high.
I would agree. I think that his position is more valuable. I think that
his
ability to play. I think outfield. I think if you're talking about
Arenado out there
playing third, Caleb Durbin was fine over at third base.
Yeah. He certainly got better there as the year went along, especially for that being his first season at third base. But I mean, Yelich has 3 more guaranteed years left, and he's got $26 million per. Plus a $20 million mutual option for 2029. So yeah, you got basically an extra year for Yelich, and Yelich is about a year younger than Arenado. So they're kind of about the same, except Yelich is coming off of actually pretty good season here, coming back from back surgery, and Arenado has just continued to be on the downward slope.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my point is when I asked the question about Arenado is, what is his value right now as a declining player? I mean, am I ready to, throw him out of baseball? No, not necessarily. No. But if I'm a team that's considering what my options are, an aging, but still very good defensive third baseman who has been in an offensive decline for a long time, I don't know that I'm going to spend $27 million on that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how much money that the Cardinals are willing to kick in because they kicked in $20 million to shed Sonny Gray. So they're probably willing to kick in a little bit more just to move Arenado out and to try and bring some of the young prospects in. Now, as we're talking about this, I don't think they're going to shed Arenado to the Milwaukee Brewers, for example. But although Pat Murphy, I'm sure, is very fond of Nolan Arenado after having seen him kick their ass for the last, 10 years.
Yeah, he's a good player. So, long story short, I hope he gets moved because I do think that that's a knock on the ability of the Cardinals moving forward. If they trade him, I think that they get worse, at least in 2026. So, Cardinals keep being cellar dwellers in the division. That's cool with me.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Pirates are still in the division, so it's hard to get them all the way in the cellar.
They count? Like, I look at the division and I say, who are the teams that actually can win it? And immediately the Pirates are removed.
Well,
you know what I mean?
We were talking cellar dwellers, and I mean, they are the leading contender for that position.
Right. But, like, that's just their spot. Like, it's not variable. That for me, it's like, can we find a way to make the Cardinals also bad? The Pirates are automatically bad.
Well, the Cardinals have been bad the last couple of years. They had the most attendance, they had the largest attendance decline this year of any team in baseball, and that's even more so than the teams that moved into minor league ballparks. Even more so than the A's and the Rays. Their attendance decline was larger than those two. So, yeah, I'd say their fans are pretty upset because they've been bad for the last couple of years. But even so, they won 78 games. I mean, they weren't far away from, they were 3 games away from being a 500 ball club.
So one of these players in the Sonny Gray deal, heading back to St. Louis, his name is Richard Fitz.
Yes, Richard Fitz.
It's a name.
Dick Fitz?
Dick Fitz.
I mean, come on.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then there was then there's another player on the Mets whose name was Richard Lovelady.
Oh,
there have been some great names.
Oh yeah,
in the history of sports.
Oh yeah. Race car driver Dick Trickle was probably the best.
Yeah. Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's in the league nowadays.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, Clinton Dix. That's a good name too.
What are the best names in sports? 877-794-1973.
I do have a question though about the NFC North. Is the NFC North a fraud?
Mm-hmm.
Have we overestimated how good this division is? Because we keep talking about it. Oh, the NFC North, the NFC North, the NFC North. I'm not sure that the NFC North is that great. I mean, you look at the NFC West, it's a pretty damn good division right now.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Arizona. They've lost a lot of close games, but now Arizona's they're folding up like a cheap suit like they always do. But the Rams, they might be the best team in the NFC. They're 9-2. Seattle's 8-3. San Francisco, they won last night. They're 8-4. They're right in the thick of things.
Yeah. I think there's an argument to be made that the NFC West is better than the NFC North. I think Arizona's every bit the team that Minnesota is. So, I mean, if we're talking about the worst team in the respective divisions, I think Arizona, maybe it's better chance at having a better record than Minnesota to this point.
The Giants have already been eliminated mathematically.
The Giants were eliminated, and I think the Titans are soon to be.
The Titans are 1-10.
Yeah. Well, DK's playing well.
DK is playing well. Playing real well.
He's the leader in all-purpose yards in the NFL this year.
Pride of Waukesha North. So we got one. Well, we got two. We got Will McDonald.
And he counts as a Badger when I do Badgers in the NFL for the
as well.
Badger
He should.
Broadcast.
Well, he should.
If Graham does anything, I'll add him in as well.
Sure. We've got our eye on the enemy coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Jeff Rieger from WXYT Radio in Detroit. I want to talk about the NFC North, though, when we come back in just a couple minutes. Keep them coming on the talk and text line. You know the number, 877-794-1973. It's D.N.D, Doug Russell, Nick Brusewitz, Dave Gasper on the Game Radio Network.
I ain't as good as I once was. I got a few years on me now. But there was a time back in my prime when I could really lay it down.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D will be back in just a moment.
Eric Tasker here from Tailgate Talk. Paul Wagner and myself are back with a new show live anywhere you find podcasts. We gather around the tailgate and talk about the gun deer season in Wisconsin, the statewide holiday that is Orange Friday, and some of the DNR's anticipation with a high harvest for this year's gun deer season. It's a great time to be in the woods, but if you need something to get you through your day or driving up to deer camp, just search for Tailgate Talk on the iHeartRadio app or everywhere you find podcasts.
Wisconsin Badger basketball. It's holiday tournament time as the Badgers take on Providence this Thursday. Coverage starts at 4 o'clock on Fox Sports 920 WOKY.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1971.
February, 4 months after her death, Janis Joplin's album Pearl is released and goes to number 1. The single Me and Bobby McGee also tops the chart. Bill Withers hits number 3 with the single Ain't No Sunshine from his debut album produced by Booker T. Jones. In March of 71, Carole King releases her first solo album and scores 2 number 1 singles, I Feel the Earth Move and It's Too Late. And UK progressive rockers Jethro Tull have a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic with Aqua Lungs.
Stop running down his nose. Greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes. Hey, Aqua Lungs.
In April, the Temptations topped the charts with Just My Imagination, their 3rd number 1 and their 13th top 10 single. Three Dog Night have their 2nd number 1 single with Joy to the World. And the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers is released, including the number 1 single Brown Sugar.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1971.
The Doors released their 6th and final studio album, L.A. Woman, while Paul McCartney releases his 2nd solo album, Ram, which goes to number 1 UK and number 2 US. The album includes several jibes at John Lennon and the number 1 single, Uncle Albert Admiral Halsey. In May of 71, soul singer Marvin Gaye releases his concept album What's Going On and has 3 top 10 singles. And Rod Stewart's 3rd solo album goes number 1 and has a number 1 single, Maggie May.
Maggie, I wish I'd never seen your face.
In July of 71, The Who releases Who's Next. It tops the charts in the UK and goes to number 4 in the US.
Teenage wasteland, oh yeah. Teenage wasteland. They're all wasted.
The Allman Brothers released their breakthrough live double album at Fillmore East. And in August, the concert for Bangladesh, organized by George Harrison and Ravi Shankar, is held in New York City. In addition to the organizers, Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan, Badfinger, Leon Russell, and Billy Preston appear.
Feel my guitar gently.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1968.
Born to be wild.
In January of 1968, Steppenwolf released their debut album, including the single Born to be Wild, which charts at number 2 in the U.S. Johnny Cash records 2 live shows at California's Folsom Prison, along with June Carter and Carl Perkins. Also in January, the Beatles are number 1 with Hello Goodbye. In London, they launched their own company, Applecore, with a store, a recording studio, and record label. February of 68, Pink Floyd lead singer Syd Barrett is checked into a psychiatric hospital and the band replaces him with David Gilmour. The Beatles, Donovan, Mia Farrow, and others travel to India to study transcendental meditation with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And Bill Graham opens the Fillmore East concert venue in an abandoned New York City theater. April of 1968, the musical Hair opens on Broadway for the first of 1,750 performances. It would spawn several top 40 hits, including Aquarius, Good Morning Starshine, and Hair. Simon and Garfunkel released their album Bookends, which goes to number 1 in the US and the UK. The single Mrs. Robinson would go to number 1 in June, thanks to the movie The Graduate.
God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968. Coming up.
I'm on
first place team right now at 8-3 on the year. Their point differential is negative.
Yeah, that happens.
Not often.
Rarely.
The Brewers did it a couple years ago for the majority of the year. It was their run differential was negative, but they were a winning team.
Well, that was over 162 games also.
So that would, pick your poison. It doesn't matter. They got blown out a couple times, and that certainly didn't help.
Right. All I'm saying is that at 8-3, you can fairly look upon this team as, well, how good are they? Are they that good? They beat the Steelers. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
On Sunday. That was the first plus 500 team that they've beaten all season long. They still have to play Green Bay. They still have to play Detroit. Minnesota, they've fallen off the wayside. Their point differential, by the way, is now minus 31. They are awful right now. Not the worst point differential. The Saints at 2-9, they are at minus 109.
Ooh.
Giants are at minus 70, so it's not like it's that bad. I look at this division, though, and I'm not sure, because every time you hear anybody that's within the building up at 1265 say, well, I mean, yeah, but the NFC North is the toughest division in football. Is it, though? I don't know that it is. I mean, you look at the NFC West, that's a really tough division right now.
You look at the AFC West.
AFC West is pretty good. You got Denver at 9-2. The Chargers are 7-4. Kansas City, after their win, they're now 6-5. And you got the Raiders bringing up the rear.
Yeah,
you've got
AFC South even.
Indy is 8-3. Jacksonville 7-4. Houston 6-5, and Tennessee bringing.
And then there's Tennessee. Yeah.
So there's always somebody bringing up the rear.
Yep. This year it's the Minnesota Vikings.
And that was the argument for the NFC North this year, that there wouldn't be.
Right.
Essentially,
correct.
one that has been isolated as the worst.
But
right?
J.J. McCarthy has been so gassed up by, I don't know if it's the team. I don't know if it's apologists.
Yeah.
I mean, J.J. McCarthy, he is displaying now, again, this is his first year as a starter, but he was injured all of last year. It gave him a year, you would think, to absorb exactly what being an NFL quarterback is all about. He might just not be, even with the great quarterback whisperer that is Kevin O'Connell, he might just not be very good.
And the point to that, on O'Connell, real quick, David, and of course you can go. The point on O'Connell to me is, when has he ever developed a quarterback? Like, when has he developed a quarterback? He has gotten partial projects, or a guy like Kirk Cousins, who was already an established starter,
or Sam. But Sam Darnold didn't. Sam Darnold struggled throughout his entire career until he got to Minnesota.
But he elevated his play, but Sam was a grown adult who understood what he was supposed to be doing and not accomplishing it. JJ he has not played. I mean, you talk about his experience in Michigan and how little he had to throw. He's never been put in a position where, okay, this is what I am in charge of. I am in charge of our success.
Now, what I will say here for the Minnesota Vikings is that as much as we look at them as, bringing up the rear, they haven't done as well. They do have the best record among any of the cellar-dwelling teams across the league. I mean, you look at all these teams that are in last place, 2 wins, 3 wins. The Vikings are the only team with 4 wins at least in terms of last place. So I think that could add a little bit to the competitiveness of the division up and down.
And they've had to
1
lose
through
their last
4.
3 to get there, too. So,
they did. So, in terms of the competitiveness 1 through 4 in the division, that does speak to a little bit of that floor being a lot higher for the NFC North.
But how good are the Packers? I mean, the Packers 7-3-1, but they've had a couple of terrible-looking losses. Their loss against the Browns was inexcusable. Their loss against the Panthers was inexcusable. Their tie against the Cowboys and Dallas. I mean, Dallas is a mid-team in every way that you could possibly imagine. Their loss to the Cowboys, where the one thing that you could hang your hat on this year for Green Bay was their defense. Defense didn't play very well that day.
Yeah, and it was a tie. Unfortunately, they couldn't come out with a 40-point offensive performance and win that game. That's their best offensive performance of the year. And Dallas has retooled their defense, so it's going to look different, I think, come the end of the year. When you look at last year, the NFC North as a division had a .662 winning percentage, which was an NFL record. They had the best winning percentage as a division last year, ever. And I think that is where you carry that over into this season. Have an expectation the Bears are going to be better. The Lions might slip, but not slip completely. The Packers should be roughly the same, if not slightly better. And then you think the Vikings will be competitive. And so far this year, it hasn't lived up to that quite yet. But I do think that the NFC West is the best division right now in the NFL, because I think 2 of the top 3 teams in the league, the Rams and the Seahawks, are in that division. And I think that certainly is of great value. I don't know if last year you would have said the Vikings and the Lions are 2 of the best top 3. I think you would have said Lions are certainly top 3. And I think the Vikings, a lot of people were waiting for their collapse because they knew it was inevitable. AFC West, NFC West, and the NFC North are my top 3 divisions.
How good are the Detroit Lions? I don't know, but we're going to find out coming up in a couple of minutes. Jeff Rieger from WXYT Radio in Detroit. He has been following this team. He's been covering this team for a long time. He's going to be our eye on the enemy, and we're going to check in with him coming up in just a couple of minutes. Keep them coming on the talk and text line. You know the number by now, 877-794-1973. It's D.N.D, Doug Russell, Nick Bruzowitz, Dave Gasper. Thanksgiving week on the Game Radio Network.
So I'm back up in the game, running things to catch my swine, letting all the people know that I'm back to run the show.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Looking back at the world of sports, it's the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
What's happening, fellow sports nuts? It's Andy West, and I'm here to take you on a journey back to this week in sports history. We'll start off way back in 1934. The Detroit Lions played their first traditional Thanksgiving home game and lose to the Chicago Bears 1916. Another first that day, CBS Radio does its first national broadcast of an NFL game. This week in 1961, Detroit's Gordie Howe becomes the first player in NHL history to play in 1,000 regular season games. This week in 1987, San Francisco 49er Joe Montana completes an NFL record of 22 consecutive passes. The current record is a tie. Ryan Tannehill, Phillip Rivers, Marcus Mariota, and Nick Foles all have 25 passes in a row. This week in 1998, Miami's Dan Marino becomes the first player to throw 400 career touchdown passes, passing for 255 yards and 3 touchdowns in the Dolphins' 30-10 win against New Orleans. This week in 2010, Cam Newton passes for 3 touchdowns and runs for another, leading number 2 Auburn back from a 24-point deficit for a stunning 28-27 victory over number 9 Alabama. Auburn trailed 21-0 before it even picked up a first down. And this week in 2015, the Philadelphia 76ers lose to the Celtics for their 28th consecutive loss, the longest losing streak in major U.S. professional sports. They would win their next game to snap the streak.
And that's just some of what happened this week in sports history. The Weekend Sports Time Capsule on iHeartRadio.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1974.
In April, Diamond Dogs is a number 1 album in the UK for David Bowie. It goes to number 5 in the US.
Rebel, rebel, you torn your dress. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, rebel, how could they know? Hot tramp, I love you so.
In June of 1974, Chicago funk band Rufus, featuring lead singer Shaka Khan, score a number 3 hit with Tell Me Something Good. UK supergroup Bad Company have a number 1 album and a top 5 single, Can't Get Enough.
I can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. Yeah, this one.
And Dutch hard rock band Golden Earring have a number 13 hit with the single Radar Love.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up.
iHeartRadio! Here are the top Michael Jackson songs you've thumbed up. Number 3, The Way You Make Me Feel. Number 2. Beat It. Number 1. Billie Jean.
She just a girl. I'm the one. But the chair that's not my son.
Hear more from Michael Jackson and similar artists now. Search for Michael Jackson on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to talk about what he creatively enjoys the most.
Still, to this day, is the most exciting thing about what I do, which is writing songs. I like to write songs, and it's the only thing really about all of this that I really love. You know, all that sitting around chit-chatting and going on tour, and that's all right, you know, but for me, making music is the one thing that really sparks, you know, and really you do get off on, you know. I mean, yeah, there's nights, there's gigs where you can play and you know, you come off stage and you think I don't have to play. I've just played the best gig I ever played. I can die now, and that's happened to me. But it would be nothing without the song.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
Here you go. Detroit Rock City. Welcome in. It is D.N.D. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, and Dave Gasper here on the Game Radio Network. We are efforting Jeff Rieger from WXYT Radio in Detroit. Oh, we got Jeff. All right, good. My StreamYard has been a little wonky today.
I can tell.
Because I'm in the Madison studio instead of the Milwaukee studio. But joining us, he is our eye on the enemy, but he's never an enemy. He is, of course, always our friend, but we're interested to see exactly how his football team has been navigating their 2025 NFL season because it's been a little strange. Jeff Rieger joining us here on the Game Radio Network. Jeff, appreciate the time. How are you, my guy?
What's going on, guys? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. You will be in attendance, of course, for Thanksgiving as the Packers come to Ford Field to take on the Lions. Talk to me about this team because we saw them last in week 1. The Packers coming away with a pretty decisive 27-13 victory. Then you rip off 4 in a row. You lose to Kansas City. Okay, they were in the Super Bowl last year. They've kind of had an up and down season themselves, but you're still 4-2. You beat Tampa Bay. I think the Buccaneers are a quality team. You lose to Minnesota, though. Bounce back against Washington, who've turned out to be terrible. You lose to Philadelphia, but it took overtime to get past the New York Giants on Sunday. Where is this team right now?
Yeah, Doug, I just have a question, though. Did the Lions lose to 9 or did they lose to J.J. McCarthy? I'm just not quite sure. I don't know what
that was a 9 day, one of the rare 9s.
No, listen, I think fans here in Detroit are freaking out, and I think we're kind of doing an unfair thing, to tell you the truth. I think Lions fans are comparing this team to the last 2 years, and this team doesn't have the same offensive line, and this team no longer has Ben Johnson as their OC. Aaron Glenn is their DC as well, and I do believe we knew this was possible with a new OC, a new DC, a real tough schedule, that maybe the Lions take a step back. But I don't think anybody thought the Lions were capable of losing to the Vikings as the 8.5-point favorite at home. And then also they were a 13.5-point favorite against the Giants. And I know the Giants play everybody close, but the fact that you needed overtime to beat the Giants, I would say Detroit is in a very weird place wondering about their football team. And offensively, they haven't been quite as good. Defensively, people really were excited after that Philly loss. Like, hey, wow, we're a great defense. And then you see Jameis Winston just airing out for 500 yards. So all in all, I think Lions fans are freaked out. Add that to the fact Thanksgiving, the annual game, is against you guys for pretty much the division because we all think the Bears are fake. And a lot of anxiety going on here.
Yeah, Jeff, and you recognize ultimately that you're without Terrion Arnold, you're without Kirby Joseph. Like there's a glimmer of hope when you get your guys back in the secondary that there'd be improvement there. But I do want to highlight Jared Goff And the fact that the next 5 games, including this past week, so 6 total, are indoors. So that's got to be good for the Lions fans because he plays poorly outside. Many people have challenged his small hands, and now he gets to play 5 in a row indoors moving forward. Is there something to that? Because statistically, there is a correlation, but in your opinion, what do you think?
You know what it is? I think it's a tad unfair to Jared Goff. I really do, because I think when he plays outdoor with Frank Ragnow as his center, and Zeitler at his guard, and Penei Sewell at a tackle, I think he's just fine. And we saw that last year when he played outdoors. But this year, the problem with the Lions offense is their offensive line. And you guys saw it in week 1. There is a real issue with the Lions center, Graham Glasgow, and their guards as well, a couple of rookies. And Jared Goff has been getting pressured a ton. And it's wild because everybody up until the Philly game is like, oh, Jared Goff is having an MVP type season. Well, he was against the Bengals and against the Bears and against the Browns, a pretty good defense, whatever. But when they actually play the 4 best defenses that they've played this season, whether it be you guys who are a really good D, or Kansas City, or obviously Philadelphia and Minnesota with that front as well, Jared Goff has struggled. I don't think it's an indoor dome thing. I don't think it's a small hands or he's got to wear gloves or not wear gloves. I think it's simple, man. You know who the guy is, and the Lions signed him, and he's super accurate when he's on his spot. But if you get him off his spot, which you've seen, which we've seen, then he's going to struggle, and he's nowhere near as accurate. And the reason is that offensive line, and that's why I think it could be a tough matchup for Detroit come today or on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Jeff. I mean, the offensive line, they've been a little bit beat up over there. The Packers' offensive line has been beat up a little bit as well, and they haven't played as well this season. And they're going to be charged with trying to block Aiden Hutchinson, and the Lions' offensive line is going to be charged with trying to block Micah Parsons. What's your take on the type of impact Hutchinson and Parsons are going to end up having on this game?
Well, what are they? The 2 guys that lead the league in pressures. It's interesting because Aiden's come under some criticism over the last week, despite sacking Jameis Winston to end the game and having a pressure that caused the pick. I think Detroit fans saw that contract that he just signed, and they want more. And it's been a topic of conversation over the last couple of days. Does Aiden need to do more, or does he need somebody alongside with him to help him do more because he keeps meeting double and triple teams? Aiden's been great, but I do think there's room for more. As far as the other matchup, whether it's Rashawn Gary or Micah Parsons or Devontae Wyatt, I do worry about the Lions offensive line. And guys, I do believe that Brian Flores, the DC for the Minnesota Vikings, told everybody in the league how to beat the Detroit Lions. Interior pressure. And Jared Goff is going to struggle, and I think you guys are pretty good at that. And it's interesting because over the last 3 to 4 years, Ben Johnson owned Brian Flores. He never lost to him, and whatever Flores did, it didn't work. And then you saw the game a couple weeks ago in Detroit, and the whole world's eyes have opened up. And since then, you saw New York have success up the middle. The Eagles manhandled the Lions' offensive line and made Jared Goff's night a living hell. So I think Green Bay could do more of the same. So, yes, without a doubt, I would worry about Aiden Hutchinson. The problem with the Lions' defensive line, though, is despite the sacks for top 10, their pressures are not real pressures for the most part. They're giving quarterbacks, including Jameis Winston, the second most time in football to throw the football. So, yeah, they're eventually getting home, but in the meantime, Jordan Love might have some time to get the ball away.
Jeff Rieger joining us from WXYT Radio in Detroit as the Packers get set to take on the Detroit Lions, a Thanksgiving Day feast at Ford Field. A couple of weeks ago, John Morton didn't step down, but Dan Campbell took over play calling duties from him. What's your take on that, and how was that received in Detroit among the faithful?
Everybody was thankful. Everything was very thankful. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Dan Campbell. That was weird because nobody knew what happened, right? They were in Washington, D.C. after a loss to Minnesota. A staple of Dan Campbell is after losing, he usually eviscerates the other team. Dan Campbell has not lost 2 games in a row in 3 years. That's why I think the Giants game was a little startling because they probably should have lost and they almost lost. And the fact that they didn't pummel a 2-win Giants football team, I think people are like, maybe the magic's wearing off a little bit. But going back to that day in Washington, nobody knew. Nobody knew. And then Dan Campbell on TV is wearing bifocals. And like, something's weird here. And he's got a big menu out, like he's at Applebee's, like the organization he does commercials for. And I'm like, this is not right. And then you see him talking, and I'm like, whoa, he's calling plays. And ironically enough, they showed John Morton up in the booth, and John Morton's playing Game Boy. Like, honestly, he's not doing anything. And I'm like, wow, he did it. So I think it was that Minnesota game. Campbell obviously was probably pretty infuriated by the offense's performance. So he took over the play calling himself. All of Detroit's very happy, but a weird thing has happened, guys. Like after the Washington game, Campbell picked a great time to do it. They scored 1 billion points in front of President Trump. Like the Lions offense was back. Everything's fantastic. The next week was Philly, and they scored 9 points. And the next week was, of course, last week, the Giants, and they struggled again, and it took overtime to pull out a win, and thanks to Jahmyr Gibbs for that. So I do think Dan Campbell is still kind of trying to find his footing on how to do play calling and also make sure stuff doesn't fall through the cracks as far as game management. Because if you've watched the last 2 games, Campbell's having some real tough times with when to call a timeout and if he should, and some of the other issues that you have to take care of as a head coach and you probably need to focus on as a head coach instead of calling plays. So we'll see if this works out. John Morton has not been seen. I mean, I'm sure he's still with the team. He talks to the media. I'm not quite sure what he does. But all of Detroit is happy he's no longer calling plays. And I got to believe there'll be a new OC next year.
That's interesting. Really interesting stuff because it felt like Morton from the Sean Payton tree of sorts. Like it felt like he was a good hire and didn't work out. And, you know, Philly has their issues at OC as well. So every team's got their warts. But the Packers covered one of them by getting Micah Parsons about 2.5 months ago. And I want to get your gut reaction at that moment when you figure out, hey, the Packers have added Micah Parsons. We were 15-2 last year, and the Packers are kind of coming for it.
Have they changed the rules on swearing on the radio? Can we do that? No, we probably can't, right? I think Detroit had, they probably cursed a little bit. No, it's weird because the Lions fans have been begging Brad Holmes, the GM, to add somebody opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. And whether it was Myles Garrett when we thought he was going to leave, or Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby, Lions fans have been begging Holmes to do something. And it's wild because I remember when the news came down and everybody freaked out because let me get this straight. So the Packers are officially coming for you. And they added Micah Parsons, and it's a move that you didn't make either. So it's bad enough that they did it, but then they get to face you twice, and you didn't do it. And, of course, we had conversations about was the asking price, what you paid, worth it? And I'd say up to this point, absolutely. Micah Parsons has been unbelievable. You'll see again where they'll line him up anywhere, and I'm sure he's going to have success against that O-line for Detroit. So I think my response was the same as the city's response, which is, why not us? What are you waiting for? Like Brad Holmes, he's done a tremendous job, and he's built a very good team, and he's all about signing his own. And he has everybody that he drafted and hit on successfully pretty much extended for the foreseeable future, which is one way to do it for sure. But a lot of Lions fans, considering, guys, you have Super Bowls. We have no idea what's it like to go to a Super Bowl. I always figured I would be dead before the Lions go to a Super Bowl. So you finally have this great team and this great core, and you got studs on both sides of the football, and you could have made a move like that to get a Micah Parsons, and him and Aiden would put you over the top. And listen, I'm sure in the future there'll be salary cap hell, but okay, I'm sure you could deal with that considering you'll have footage of you going to a parade in Detroit because you won the Super Bowl. This has been Detroit's biggest dream that's never been attained. Just go to the Super Bowl. And we always talk about it. And last year you thought was the year when they went 15-2. The year before that, they were 30 minutes away in the NFC title game. So I think most of Detroit is like, dude, you've done a hell of a job, Holmes, but take a swing, make it happen. And could you imagine, I mean, the dominance of that D-line if Hutch and Micah Parsons were to team up together? So to answer your question, the reaction was probably like, oh, crap.
Yeah, I'm thankful I don't have to imagine it anymore because that was a possibility. I mean, there were a lot of teams, around here that were sniffing around Micah Parsons as that was happening as those rumors were going around. But it's it's been a wild turn with that. But also, I mean, the secondary for you guys, for the Lions, I mean, they've got some really great names back there. But Kirby Joseph, Terrion Arnold, Brian Branch, all on the injury reports. And, Kirby Joseph didn't practice on Monday. Arnold and Branch were limited. If those guys can't go, how much does that concern you for this Lions secondary on Thursday?
Well, guys, you haven't heard of the Legion of Whom? That's the Lions.
That's good.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. So like Thomas Harper and Daniel Thomas and Arthur Mollett and Avante Maddox. No, Lions had a ton of injuries against Tampa Bay in a Monday night game, and they had all 4 of their starters in the secondary, and a bunch of guys you just listed out. And you're thinking, oh man, Baker Mayfield's coming to town. And Mike Evans is playing in that game. Unfortunately, he got injured in that game for Tampa Bay, but those guys held Tampa Bay to 9 points. So they somehow, I don't know who did it, I'd like to take credit, they dubbed the nickname Legion of Whom. A bunch of guys that aren't Kirby Joseph or aren't Terrion Arnold or aren't DJ Reed and Brian Branch, and they did just fine. But since then, as you saw a bunch of those guys play against New York the other week, and not so great. So I would probably worry a little bit, considering I think DJ Reed will play because he played last week. I think Branch will play. He is questionable. Kirby Joseph, I don't think has any chance. He's dealing with a knee issue, and for some reason or another, it's just not getting better. And Terrion Arnold's coming back from a concussion, so we'll see if he happens to play. But yes, if they could play, I think it would be definitely advantage Detroit Lions, considering it looks like you guys are getting all your offensive pieces back, right? Watson, Reed, Golden, Jacobs, all playing, it seems like. So I would say probably an issue if the Lions starters don't suit up on the game on Thanksgiving.
Only got about 30 seconds left, Jeff. I just wanted to get your initial kind of thoughts on the NFC North as a whole so far this year.
Yeah, so the Vikings are awful thanks to their quarterback. Do we think the Bears are real? Like, you guys tell me.
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't think so.
Like, when we find out on Friday, Black Friday against the Eagles, if they go into Philly and they beat the Eagles, then Ben Johnson's coach of the year, and they're totally real. If not, which I don't think they are, they got to play you guys twice. They got to play the Lions again. They got to go to San Francisco. I'm choosing at this moment not to believe in the Chicago Bears, despite the fact they lead the division. So it's Detroit and it's Green Bay, and if Green Bay happens to win on Thanksgiving, then it's pretty much your guys to lose, I would assume, because the Lions might not even make the postseason. Detroit needs this game, obviously, so do you, but the Lions need this game desperately if they still want a chance to get a home playoff game and win the division for a third straight year.
Jeff Rager, you're the best. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you again soon.
See you guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Jeff. There he goes, Jeff Rager from WXYT Radio in Detroit. Covers the team, has covered the Detroit Lions for a long time.
But not too happy.
Happy, but not too happy.
That's right.
Yeah. But he'll be feasting on something in the press box at Ford Field.
Hope you have a miserable noon until 3:30.
And then go home and
have a great evening
with the family.
That's right.
Got a lovely family. All right, 2 hours down, 2 hours to go. Stay with us. We'll hear from Rob Reichel. We'll hear from Patrick Herb. They're going to join us coming up live. We'll also hear from Badgers head football coach Luke Fickell. One game left to play, and it's for the Axe. We're at halftime. D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
You are listening to D.N.D with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game.
Baby, right.
Hi, I'm Mike Young with NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Week 12 of the NFL season came to a close Monday night in Santa Clara with the Niners beating the Panthers 20-9. Niners running back Christian McCaffrey rushed for 89 yards and a touchdown. He was also targeted 7 times for 53 yards. Now leads the NFL with receptions as a running back. Elsewhere, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow expected to return Thanksgiving Day against the Ravens after being out since week 2 with a grade 3 turf toe injury. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski announced his rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders will remain the starter entering week 13 after his first start and a victory despite rookie Dylan Gabriel clearing concussion protocol. And the Giants have parted ways with their defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen, after their overtime loss to the Lions. Outside linebackers coach Charlie Bowen will serve as the interim DC for the time being. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Black Friday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Black Friday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
After a weekend in Nevada, the Milwaukee Admirals return home Wednesday when they host the Iowa Wild for the first time this season.
It's the Rockford line delays. Afanasiev in the slot. He shoots and scores. Igor Afanasiev.
Pre-game coverage at 6:30. Face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and the iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Foreigner songs that you've thumbed up.
Number 3.
Hot Blooded.
I show you loving like you never knew. That's why I'm hot-blooded. Check it and see. Feel the fever burning inside of me. Come on, baby, do you do more than dance?
Number 2.
I Want to Know What Love Is.
To change this lonely life. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me.
Number 1.
Cold as Ice.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love.
Hear more from Foreigner and similar artists now.
Search for Foreigner on iHeartRadio.
All your favorite music.
All your favorite stations.
All free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1971.
February, 4 months after her death, Janis Joplin's album Pearl is released and goes to number 1. The single Me and Bobby McGee also tops the chart. Bill Withers hits number 3 with the single Ain't No Sunshine from his debut album produced by Booker T. Jones. In March of 71, Carole King releases her first solo album and scores 2 number 1 singles, I Feel the Earth Move and It's Too Late. And UK progressive rockers Jethro Tull have a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic with Aqualung.
Stops running down his nose. Greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes. Hey, Aqualung.
In April, The Temptations topped the charts with Just My Imagination, their 3rd number 1 and their 13th top 10 single. Three Dog Night have their 2nd number 1 single with Joy to the World. And the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers is released, including the number 1 single Brown Sugar.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1971. Coming up.
Attention, please. We are the gang and the home of D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave. Weekdays from 10 to 2, live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Watch the show on YouTube, Facebook, and X by searching 97.3 The Gang.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Well, the Milwaukee Bucks free fall continues. They lose last night to the Portland Trail Blazers 115-103 at home. Bobby Portis, your leading scorer with 22 points. Kyle Kuzma added 15. Miles Turner with 13. Ryan Rollins with 10. But the Bucks' losing streak hits 5 games. They're now 8-10 on the season. Just a rough stretch for this group.
Yeah, well, they're not very good. Has no Giannis, big problem.
Yep.
In the NBA, you need superstars if you're going to be competitive, and the window is closed because right now, I don't know how much longer Giannis is going to be here. I don't know if this is going to be it. I don't know if they're going to trade him during the season. I don't know if they're going to trade him during the offseason. I don't think they're going to let this thing go where he leaves and you don't get anything in return. I don't think that's feasible.
It'd be foolish.
It would be. It'd be
worse than what the Mavs did.
It would be because Giannis has made intimations that he does think that and he's probably right, in the right situation, has one more championship window left in his career, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen here. It's just not. So it is getting to the point where I want Giannis to seek something out for himself, and the Bucks need to start to think about life without him, because life with him is getting pretty depressing.
Just any place that's not the Boston Celtics, please.
I don't even care if it's the Celtics. I don't care where it is.
I just don't want to see him there. I'm tired of Boston winning things.
Wherever you can get the most,
right,
is the only issue. It's whatever will bring you back. I don't care if it's the Bulls. I don't care if it's the Pacers. I don't care.
Oh, that would stink.
I don't care. You need to start thinking about what your future is going to look like, because they tried to run it back as best as they could. And I give them all the credit in the world for doing as much as they possibly could with what was in front of them, knowing that Damian Lillard wasn't going to be able to play this year. So they waived him and stretched him out. And then they brought in the only free agent that was on the market that could possibly have helped them. And it's not working out.
Yeah. You got to send him to the Knicks, where he's been long rumored.
Okay.
Get draft capital back.
Yeah.
Get Cat. And then you're good.
Oh, and then Stephen A. Smith will be thrilled to get Giannis on the Knicks.
That's the only thing that gives me pause.
Yeah.
The Stephen A.
is to please Stephen A. Smith. That is the only thing that makes me
make him happy.
Wow. That's interesting.
I'll tell you, the New York Knicks have the unmitigated goal to be able to make this kind of a trade to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. They needed to do this. And just kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like
I don't need that. I mean, that's everything else.
This is the greatest day of my life. Here is Stephen A. Smith. I've never been happy. I've never been better.
So that's the only thing. Again, that's the only thing that makes me not want to do it.
Stephen A. I mean, who cares? I mean, there's going to be some obnoxious fan regardless of
I don't care. He's the most obnoxious human being on the planet. He is the most obnoxious. He's just obnoxious.
It's a win for Colin. A lot of people don't like Colin.
Yeah, I know. It is a win for Colin.
Yeah.
Colin Cowherd is far less annoying than Stephen A. Smith.
He doesn't yell as much at the top of his lungs like Stephen A. does. He may have some trash takes, but
some trash takes and a lot of smugness.
Yeah.
But he's not nearly as annoying as Stephen A. Smith.
Well, he's doing his herd hierarchy right now, his NFL rankings, power rankings, in his opinion. I do think it's a little timely, considering that he has Detroit at 7 and the Packers at 8.
Well, we'll find out. That's why they play the games.
We'll find out
in
on
2 days.
So, but the Packers have already beaten the Lions head to head.
Yeah,
and they have a better record right now.
I think it's hard to say, right? Absolutely have a better record right now. It depends on how you want to quantify a tie. Technically, right, it's better to not have a loss.
They have
a
higher winning percentage.
I think to a lot of people, it feels like they're 7-4, right? They won 7 games, they didn't win 4. So they're roughly the same group, but yeah, I get it. I mean, they're neck and neck. It'd be one thing if you had Detroit at 7 and Packers not even in his top 10. I mean, then you'd be like, okay, there's a large gap. They'll play, and whoever wins is clearly the better team.
The good news is I don't pay attention to anything that Colin Cowherd says about the Packers because he's usually wrong, so it's fine with me.
I do think it's interesting, though, to kind of see nobody's power rankings are right. I mean, nobody is, perfect.
Yeah.
And it is interesting to see what his perspective on a team. He's a Packers-ish guy. I mean, he's as long as I've seen his programming, it's mostly been Packer positive. It's mostly been
because they're a national brand and he has to.
I mean,
just like he talks Cowboys all the time. It is
Well,
always
everyone has to
Cowboys
talk
and
about the
Dak
Cowboys.
Prescott. Yeah, but that's just
He's
because
just usually wrong when he says things.
Yeah,
I mean, when he claims to have some sort of insider knowledge, I mean, you can pick it like one factually
he
incorrect
knows
statement
one
after
guy,
another.
and so
Yeah.
it's helpful. Sorry to hijack.
Well-
what do we got?
Well, what is factually correct is that we have 26 semifinalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026.
All right, who we got?
Including 5 players who are first-time eligible who made it through. Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Frank Gore, Larry Fitzgerald, and Jason Witten are the 5
They're all in.
first-timers.
They're all in.
And then you
This
add
is a strong
Eli,
class.
and you add Eli, who's in year 2.
Yeah. Eli's
not
there.
gonna, with this class, Eli's not going to make it.
Yeah, you got Adam Vinatieri.
Probably not.
You got
He's a
Darren
kicker.
Woodson.
He's in.
Luke Kuechly, Terrell Suggs.
Luke, I'm surprised that Luke Kuechly isn't in yet. He's not going to make it. So the 5 first timers that you just named, Dave, those are all stronger than any of these other guys that you're naming.
Yeah, I would say Frank's probably the least strong of that 5. Frank Gore. I mean,
Yeah,
he's a
but longevity
play.
at that position is
he's in.
rare.
I just wouldn't be shocked if he's not a first ballot.
Well, some say the same thing about Phil Rivers, though, too. It's like, well,
Exactly.
he played a long time. And I say it's because
But he didn't have
wanted
Super
to play one season for every child that he had.
Well, it's the opposite knock, of course, with Luke Kuechly.
True.
He
He only
didn't
played 8
play long
years.
enough. He played an exceptionally high level. Patrick Willis just got in, so it's the same argument there. I'm sure you had more guys to list off. Were there any other notable ones, Dave, that might be on that 26?
Robert Mathis, Vince Wilfork, Marshall Yanda, Reggie Wayne, Hines Ward, Steve Smith Sr.
Maybe.
Steve Smith Sr. should get in at
Jari Evans.
There's just going to be former Packer, Jari Evans. Think about like all those wide receivers. It's like that's the only position that you're going to be able to put in at some point. Quarterbacks and wide receivers, because of the way that the game has changed. Some say evolve, some say devolve, but it's certainly changed over the last several years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, guys put up numbers. Now the problem is, figuring those numbers. Baseball's the opposite, right? You're never going to see the same level of statistical.
You're not going to see 300
thresholds.
wins. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
3,000
just not.
strikeouts, right? It's just not.
Well, strikeouts you might see, but in terms of win totals on the record, I don't think you're going to be able to see that.
The days of
anytime soon.
Regular 20-game winners in a season.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
who's the
Verlander
last-
and Scherzer can't get there despite pitching into their 40s here, then I don't think anyone's going to be able to. So, that'll be fun to watch as the balloting will continue there. We're going to find out at NFL Honors ahead of the Super Bowl who ends up getting elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026.
Kyle Wright had a 20-win season in 2022 with the Braves.
Wow. And I think he got DFA'd or traded not too long ago.
He is. I think he just returned to Atlanta, maybe, but yes, good.
His career has kind of gone downhill since.
15 total 20-win seasons since 2013.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You don't have a ton of those. You know how Andrew Brandt always says there will be lawyers? Well, there continue to be lawyers between LSU and Brian Kelly. As lawyers for Brian Kelly have now informed LSU that the school's claim that it had not yet formally terminated Kelly as its football coach has, quote, made it nearly impossible for him to get another coaching job. So now there's kind of a lawsuit going back and forth between Kelly and LSU about firing him for cause and, waiting a while to fire him officially for
What are
cause.
they claiming?
It's
for cause. I don't get that.
Yeah. Let's see. LSU's
Because if
conduct,
you're
this
going to
is-
fire someone for clause, it's conduct. It's you did something to besmirch the program. You did something that was outside of the bounds of the rules or outside of the bounds of, what is generally acceptable.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly, he didn't win as many football games as they wanted. That's not cause. That's
I have cause. It is because
That's
I hate him.
opinion.
Yeah.
But they haven't clarified what exactly the cause is. But the school had stated that it had reason to fire him for cause because they're trying to save the $54 million buyout.
Or is it that goofball governor that they've got down there, Foghorn Leghorn, that's trying to, butt his nose into the football program of the state school as opposed to, making sure that children get educated and fed in his
at the
backwater
state.
Yeah.
You
Am I
know,
wrong? It's the worst
No.
state it's the worst state in the country.
You've made it clear that it ranks poorly in all major categories.
Okay, so Doug has it out for Louisiana. Billy has it out for Iowa. Armin has
I don't
it out
have it
for
out for
Oklahoma.
Louisiana. I think Louisiana could do better. I think Louisiana is a state that has so much history. The people are great, but it's run and has been run just exceptionally terribly over the last 100 years.
Yeah. You can say that about a lot of states, a lot of places.
You can say that about Mississippi. You can say that about Alabama. You can say that about Kentucky. You can say that about
Illinois,
West Virginia.
Yeah.
But Illinois is not that bad. Illinois got some issues.
Yeah.
But I mean, Louisiana, it's like just a poverty-stricken state that I would think that the governor would have more, bigger fish to fry than the football program.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah. But again, as Andrew
For all
Brandt
of his-
would
listen,
say,
for all of
there
his
will be
faults,
lawyers.
I don't see Pritzker butting his nose into the football program at Illinois. That's all.
because
I'm
he's
saying.
too busy butting his nose into a pie.
Hey.
You can,
Him and Bielema could be body
our,
doubles.
our friends at Madison Weight Loss can help both of those guys out.
They can.
$400 off right now through the end of, not that Pritzker can't afford it, but you can help take care of that. Yeah, I just don't want. Listen, whenever the governor of the state butts his nose into the football program when there's other issues, that's a problem. So I think that's probably some of what's going on right now with the
there's
football program at
pressure
LSU.
from up above to try and hey, let's not have this buyout. Let's try and go about this, and it's just making things so much worse. And again, as Andrew Brandt points out, there will be lawyers. There are lawyers, and there will continue to be lawyers for quite some time. So, yeah, it's a fun time down there in Baton Rouge.
It'll be interesting. I wonder
that,
if they do end up finding a cause. I'm looking forward to seeing what it is. I mean, maybe there is something that actually happened, and Brian Kelly's a terrible guy.
Poison the shrimp etouffee.
I mean,
and the po' boy sandwich.
Offensive language, maybe, accent copying.
That's why they need to get Ed Orgeron in. I know they want Lane Kiffin, but they're also open to bringing in Ed Orgeron back as an assistant coach if they can bring in Lane Kiffin, because the two of them work together at USC.
Lane Kiffin's daughter is dating a linebacker, I believe, on LSU's current roster. So
who is
Lane Kiffin?
Lane Kiffin's daughter is dating an LSU linebacker.
Yeah, that's
I believe.
right.
Well, that's one reason for Dad to come in and
straighten things out.
Suggest that he transfers.
Well, either that or just kind of keep an eye on the young man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. With the rivalry weekend, this weekend, there's been, talk, reports about, Kiffin making his decision on whether he's going to stay or go by the end of this week, by the Egg Bowl, as Ole Miss takes on Mississippi State. So that's that could be coming to a head here soon, as things move along there. So yeah, great times. And
all right.
Yeah.
So there's food here at the Madison station.
Oh, how nice for you guys.
It is.
Well, what a day for Doug to be up there.
Funny.
I didn't know that I would be
Doug ends up
parachuting
here.
into this, but it was so right. And the can you smell it? It's kind of starting to waft in
Yeah,
here.
and we've had multiple members of our staff here come into the window and signal to me, and I'm like, I'm on the air. So
We're doing some work here. I had somebody offer me a screwdriver.
That's nice.
Oh my goodness. You guys are
never. I
Can
could
I
never.
come?
You have a loose screw somewhere? Oh, a screw.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I saw in the kitchen, there's like, ooh, all the fixins.
Yeah. Imagine Bruiser's Bites if I.
We're gonna need you to go.
All right.
Bruiser's Bites is gonna have to last another half hour or
Here
so.
we go.
So
Get that dump button ready.
Oh goodness.
we still have a
blank
lot
face.
to get to here in this.
That's right.
This hour as well. You can hit us up on the talk and text line, of course, but also still to come in this hour, we will hear from Patrick Herb from the University of Wisconsin. Hear him on the broadcast from the sidelines, and we'll also hear from Luke Fickell coming up in just a couple minutes as well. His Monday news conference. And listen, Luke Fickell's one of those guys who loves rivalries. He went to Ohio State, played at Ohio State, was an assistant coach, interim head coach for a year there, so he knows all about the game, if you will. as they get set to take on Michigan coming up on Saturday. And it'll be the annual, if Ryan Day doesn't win this game, he's going to get fired kind of thing, even though Ohio State is a machine right now that just won the national championship. But yeah, it's Wisconsin and Minnesota. I think it's worth something. And the way that Wisconsin is playing right now at the end of the season, everything that they do is just been a positive the last 3 weeks. I know that the second half against Indiana wasn't great, but this is also a team that is peaking at the right time. Not that they're going to play for anything in the postseason, but this is the way you want to go into the season. I feel so much better, infinitely better about the Badgers in 2025 than I did about the Badgers in 2024. And hopefully they can come away with a win against Minnesota coming up on Saturday.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Get that
What time does Badgers pregame begin? 10:30 for Badgers game day coming up on Saturday. Nick and Reed Magnum. All right, we'll hear from Luke Fickle. We might go grab a plate.
Might as well.
Or so, because people keep, like you said, people keep going up to the window and saying,
how
it's
nice
food
for you
time,
guys.
It's chow time.
Enjoy
I'm sorry,
it.
Dave. This is the way
you get frozen pizzas there.
Yeah, you got a whole thing of frozen pizzas right behind you.
And that would be Doug's food of choice anyway.
That's true. There's some ham. I like ham. I might get a ham sandwich or something like that.
All right. Well, time will tell. We'll come back with tails.
We'll go do that. Luke Fickle coming up straight ahead. We'll also hear, like I said, from Patrick Herb and then Rob Reichel from Forbes Sports. He covers the Packers and has for a long time. He'll join us in the final hour of the program as well. It's D.N.D. Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
Feeling fine, and it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I'll spend my money up right down to my last dime.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Coming up tonight, it's the season opening broadcast of Catholic Memorial High School basketball on Fox Sports 920 WOKY. Join me, Hunter Baumgart, and Andrew Ludwig for all of the action as the Catholic Memorial boys host the Whitnall Falcons in the season opener. We'll be on the air at 6:45 with the pregame show tip-off at 7. Tonight on Fox Sports 920 WOKY.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Try to set the night on fire.
In January of 1967, Los Angeles band The Doors released their debut album, which eventually goes to number 2, and features the single Light My Fire, which goes to number 1 in July. The Rolling Stones released Ruby Tuesday, an ode to a groupie written by Keith Richards. The song takes them to number 1 in the U.S. in March. And San Francisco band The Jefferson Airplane released the surrealistic Pillow album, scoring 2 top 10 hits with White Rabbit and Somebody to Love.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love.
In March of 67, Buffalo Springfield re-releases their debut album to include the hit single For What It's Worth. In April of 67, Give Me Some Lovin' by the Spencer Davis Group goes to number 7 in the U.S., with vocals by 17-year-old Steve Winwood. And in May, Elvis Presley marries his 21-year-old girlfriend Priscilla in Las Vegas. In May, Mitch Ryder hits number 4 with Devil with a Blue Dress, Good Golly Miss Molly. And the Jimi Hendrix Experience released their debut in the UK. In July, they toured the U.S. as the opening act for the Monkees in support of the U.S. album release.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967 coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1976.
Bob Dylan releases his album Desire. It goes to number 1 in the States, thanks mainly to significant radio airplay for the single Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game.
Scottish sensations, the Bay City Rollers, finally score a hit in the U.S. with the number 1 single, Saturday Night.
It's a Saturday night.
In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a number 2 U.S. album with Silk Degrees. Peter Frampton hits number 1 with his double live album Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you. Show me the way every day. I want you. Show me the way night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album, Jailbreak, scores them a number 12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Been hanging down at Dino's.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1976 coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the number 1 Jive Talkin'. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a number 1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to number 1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
Love is fine for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. Don't you listen to what the man said. He said.
In August of 75, the Eagles' 4th album goes to number 1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the number 1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching number 3 in the U.S.
Come on with me, chance like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975 coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
I got myself a little plate.
Some turkey.
Okay. I got some mashed potatoes. I do like mashed potatoes. I got a little bit right here. I got some
There you
ham,
go.
a couple of rolls. I'm not sure what this is, but I'm intrigued. And there's an apple pie out there.
Oh, goodness. You guys are living it
So,
up.
Dave said during the break, must be nice. I'm like, you know what it is?
It
That's
is.
right.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
You know, there's always been some sort of rivalry between iHeart Milwaukee and Madison, some level of, friendly competition.
Sure.
And it's a win today for Madison.
Listen, I like having dual citizenship.
That's right.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
So it benefits me.
I remember back when I was up at the Madison station, and one time, I came down here, and all of like there was just a spread of Panera down here in Milwaukee. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess it must be nice down here in Milwaukee.
Must be nice.
Yeah,
That was one and only time.
yeah.
They did that on purpose for you on day one so that you'd feel comfortable.
Yeah,
And then
wouldn't
never
want to go
again.
back, and yeah. Now
Well,
here
there's
we
still
are.
that cooler behind you that has got all that.
That's right. You have
There
pizzas
is
there.
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, yeah. I
Monica,
gotta
the boss
make it.
here, wants to take a picture of all of us.
That's right.
So we're gonna let you. I've already heard Luke Fickle.
Mm-hmm.
So we were gonna play Luke Fickle anyway. So we're gonna go play Luke Fickle and hear from the Badgers coach ahead of Patrick Herb, who's gonna join us coming up in about 15, 20 minutes or so. And we'll look forward to that. Here's Luke Fickle. We're gonna go get another plate. Dave, smoke them if you got them, as they say.
All
Here's
right.
Badgers coach. We'll be right back.
Obviously, this is what college football is all about. I'm sure you guys will revert back and maybe ask some questions on last week. But I think when you kind of get to this week, that it's hard to talk about anything else. And I've said it since the day I came here. I've grown up this way. Like, what makes college football special is rivalries. And I know the new age of college football and some of the stuff that's gone on the last 4 years, whether it's expansions and leagues changing and growing, and it's still the thing that makes this game in college in particular so special is when you have these rivalry games. And the great thing about it is you throw out everything, right? I think they're best one at the end of the season because all records go aside. Whatever postseason looks like for different people, it goes aside, and it comes down to, a respect of a rivalry. And I reminded our guys of that yesterday as we wrapped up and finished up from the weekend and enjoyed what it is that happened last weekend, but also tried to move them on to make sure they understood that the number one most important thing is in a rivalry is respect. And all the things that we've done in the offseason make sure that our guys understand that. And the respect starts with how you prepare and how you go about your business, not just about the way you play. So it's exciting, and that's like I said, that's what this week's all about, and we'll get rolling on it. We brought it up after the game on Saturday, but I wanted the guys to enjoy, the Saturday night. Not that it was very long because it was a later night, but I wanted to make sure they woke up the next morning and understand that what's in front of us, and it's all about getting that axe.
Luke, for senior day, we saw Joe Brunner out there. Obviously, I guess we'll see what happens with his future. But in terms of what have you seen from him this year? It seems like he's obviously kind of a dominant type personality. But what has he been like kind of behind closed doors?
Well, he's been one of those, kind of the rock behind a lot of the things that's going on. And we also have seen the ups and downs. But when we talk about what's going on inside that locker room, Joe's been a rock. And for that, I have the utmost respect for him. He had actually asked me earlier in the week about being able to walk with his buddies. He said, "It doesn't mean anything, Coach. I haven't made anything. I let it go." I said, if that's what you want to do and you want to be able to walk with a lot of the guys that obviously you live with and your buddies, then we'll go about that. We won't read into it. We'll move forward because we respect you. You've meant an incredible amount to us and our program, our team, and this year in particular.
Luke, I know you're a Big Ten guy, played in the Big Ten, been an assistant there, know the rivalry weeks, but when you came to Wisconsin, is there anything that you've learned about this rivalry since coming here that maybe you didn't know when you first got here?
Well, I mean, yeah, you study it, you recognize where the balance is, and it's incredibly close and but I think more than anything, it's just understanding and respecting what rivalries really are, and it's embracing them. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean you have, hey, I don't know all the history. I didn't grow up watching. The idea of being a traditionalist, the idea of being from the Big Ten in a lot of ways, it's understanding and respecting what rivalries are all about. It's about the guys that come before you. It's about the guys that will come after you. And that's what I mean. Like I tell our guys that it starts with respect, and it's respect for the game. It's respect for your opponent. But it's also respect for traditions. And so to me, early on, the most important thing that I want to reiterate for myself and to our team is you have to embrace that. Right? I don't care. Yes, it's been a unique season and it's been a lot of tough things for us. But that doesn't matter. And it wouldn't matter based on what happened last week. It wouldn't matter based on what happened two or 3 weeks ago. At the end of the year, you're going to have this. We've prepared for it. We've talked about it. I say that with what we prepared for with another rivalry game. Some people would ask, well, you prepared, you did all these different things for the rivalry game, and look what, guys, what it comes down to is none of that stuff matters once the foot hits the ball, right? All the different hype and the speeches and the former players talking, to me, it has what it really comes down to is respect, and respect the way you prepare, but then ultimately this respect in the way that you play the game and how you represent us and our program.
Coach, I know you weren't here for his entire journey, but for Aaron Witt to be able to walk out on senior day and just get to that point, what do you think it meant to him and the program in general?
Well, I'm sure you could ask him. One thing I try not to do is speak for guys, but there's nobody that, I don't know the whole history, right? Because I wasn't here for the whole time, but I do know enough to know that nothing means more to that to him than obviously this place, what this place has done for him, what this place has done sticking with him and getting him healthy, and not just physically, but in a lot of different ways, and believing and trusting in him. And that's not just me. I think that's this entire program. I think it's the guys inside that locker room. And he come out. He's the one guy that comes out and looks you in the eye and says, I'm just going to give you a handshake. And I'm like, no. I'm going to give you a hug too, buddy. I appreciate you. Know that more than anything. I love you. I don't know if he'd say that back. It's just not Aaron Witt, but I know deep down inside, there's nothing that means more. And I respect that more than anything else.
You talked about Friday night or Saturday night about the receivers being a
tough year for them just because of the passing game. Vinny falls in that category, yet he seems to be same old Vinny, handling it well. Can you speak to that a little bit, just his attitude?
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, like they are deep rooted, and I say Vinny in particular. They are deep rooted in what we preach, and I'm not saying I'm surprised, but it's been impressive because it is difficult. It's frustrating at times for me, right? I mean, and I never caught a pass. Well, I should say in high school I caught passes, pop pass to tight end, but that's beside the point. I know how difficult it can be, and to not even sometimes maybe think you have as many of the chances and opportunities. Because let's be honest, like the wide receiver position sometimes is very difficult to coach and really difficult to justify, right? I mean, you're open and you don't get the ball, you don't get many opportunities or shots down the field. Like there's a lot of different things that just have to happen. But him being the leader of that room and how he's went about his business, this is not press conference talk of any sorts. Like he is more mature than I know I would have been at that age. And I can't say enough about how he's been able to handle this. I actually wasn't kidding you when I called him up in the office this past week and just wanted to sit down with him before, we got to senior day and before we got to the end of the season and just make sure he understood how much I appreciate not just his play, but how he really has gone about handling all the different things that we've, gone through offensively this year, and in particular at the quarterback position. And so it meant even a little bit more to see him, score a touchdown in that last game at home. But I know that even for him, that wasn't what it was all about. It was all about being able to finish. It's all about winning. And it's all about doing what's best for the people around him. And again, that is something that I will never forget.
Badgers head football coach Luke Fickell, a few minutes of his news conference yesterday ahead of the Minnesota game coming up on Saturday, 2:30 kickoff. If you're listening in Madison on 1310 WIBA or on 101.5 WIBA FM, if you're listening in Milwaukee on 95.7 Big FM, or if you're listening throughout the rest of the state of Wisconsin, as they say, check your local listings. Should be a good game. Looking forward to it. Also looking forward to checking in with Patrick Herb, who's coming up straight ahead. You'll listen to him on the sidelines during the broadcast with Matt LePay and Mark Tauscher in the booth. Of course, Badgers pregame starts at 10:30 with Reed Magnum and Nick Bruzewitz, of course, part of D.N.D. But Patrick Herb's coming up straight ahead. We'll talk all things Badgers athletics on the other side. Stay with us. It's the eve of Thanksgiving Eve edition of I still have some ham left. Still have a little
whatever that thing is.
It was good. I had another one out in the hallway. It was pretty good. It was I don't know,
some sort of croissant.
It's like a croissant with like honey glazed walnuts in it or something like that. Whatever it is, it's really good.
For a guy,
and there's an apple pie out there. So
for a guy who said Thanksgiving food is trash,
do you see any turkey on this plate? Do you see any stuffing?
Well, you didn't say exclusively those things. You said the entirety of it. You said Thanksgiving food is trash.
I have a roll.
That's good.
Okay.
Oh, well.
I have mashed potatoes. I like mashed potatoes. All right. I had a little bit of mashed potatoes. Not a lot, but a little bit.
I'm hungry.
Well, we can't eat too much. We got a whole nother hour.
Stop reminding me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sorry.
You guys enjoy the screwdrivers over there after the show, though.
I got to drive home, so I don't know.
I have to go interview players, so hell yeah, I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah, Nick's is going to partake. Stay with us. D&D on the game.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D. will be back in just a moment.
Wisconsin Badger basketball.
It's holiday tournament time as the Badgers take on Providence this Thursday. Coverage starts at 4 o'clock on Fox Sports 920 WOKY.
iHeartRadio.
Here are the top Queen songs that you've thumbed up.
Number 3.
We Are the Champions.
We are the champions of the world.
Number 2. We Will Rock You.
You got mud on your face, big disgrace. Somebody better put your bag into your place. We will rock you. Sing it. We will rock you.
number one. Another one bites the dust.
Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, I'm gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.
Hear more from Queen and similar artists now. Search for Queen on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In May of 69, Neil Young releases his first album with Crazy Horse, Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere, featuring the songs Cinnamon Girl and Down by the River. The Who released the double concept album Tommy, which goes top 10 in the US and the UK.
Even on my favorite table, he can't beat my best. His disciples needed him, and he just does the rest. Stop crazy, flipping fingers. Never seen him fall. That gift of a blind kid sure plays a mean pinball.
David Bowie's single Space Oddity, released to coincide with the Apollo 11 moon landing, reaches number 5 in the UK. Also in July, Bob Dylan has a top 10 hit with Lay Lady Lay in his new, deeper-sounding vocal style, which he attributes to quitting smoking.
Whatever colors you have in your mind, I'll show them to you, and you see them shine. Lay, lady, lay, lay across my big brass bed.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears have a number 2 hit with Spinning Wheel, popularizing the so-called brass rock movement that includes BST, Chicago, and Electric Flag.
Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Catch a painted pony on the spinning wheel ride.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your love.
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of 67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
Yeah, really ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. My baby used to put me together. My baby used to put me together.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967. Coming up.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Sir Elton John to ask what were some of the first things he did when he arrived in America.
You have to realize that when I first came to America and went to places like Memphis, I went to the Stax studio and knelt before the 8-track machine and kissed it. I went to Motown Studios. I went to the Apollo Theater in New York. It was very, very important for me to pay homage to the places that the great music came out of. I went to the Ryman in Nashville. It's, as a British person who loved American music, it was very important for me. I was fascinated, all the hours of pleasure that this stuff had given me.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
We are all jumping around after the Badgers dispatched the Illinois Fighting Illini this past Saturday. Joining us on the program right now from the Sports Information Department. And also you hear him on the sidelines at the Wisconsin football broadcasts with Matt LePay and Mark Tauscher in the booth. We welcome in the one and only Patrick Herb. Hello, Patrick. How are you today?
I'm great. It's a Victory Tuesday, although
Yeah, baby.
we've moved on now. It's Axe Week. That's what we're focusing on now.
You know what? Relish in the victories, though, because there's nothing wrong with that. Let the players deal with the acts up until maybe Thursday or Friday. You can still relish in everything that was Saturday night at Camp Randall Stadium under the lights. So I do have to ask you this question, and it's more of a logistics question than anything else. As the sidelines guy, when the field is being stormed, where is Patrick Herb, and are you in it or are you trying to avoid it?
Good question. So my job post game is to help get TV the interviews that they need. So my job shifts from I'm off air, basically put my gear away so it doesn't get trampled, and I'm in. Let's try to get Coach Fickle and players to the sideline reporter for television, if at all possible. So it becomes quite an adventure, and Saturday was no different. We had a predetermined meeting spot, and then sometimes plans go to hell when the field gets stormed, and we have to just make do as what we can. So TV actually never ended up getting Coach Fickle. We had him at a certain spot, TV was in another, and there was no meeting in between. So Coach said, "Coach, go ahead. They'll get a couple guys and they'll be happy." And so we fished him Daryl Peterson in the middle of the mosh pit, and then I think they got Carter Smith too, and they were happy. And that ends up being my job, is trying to get those pairings to happen. And it's mayhem, and I'm not very tall, so I have problems seeing over the crowd.
Yeah, but you're scrappy. That's the thing I've always admired about you, Patrick. You're scrappy. You're wiry.
If you need to enlist help, Patrick, I'm available. So
6'8".
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
I can go on your shoulders.
There we go. and I'm apparently a good luck charm too, because I was there at my first ever game at Camp Randall, and that's what I get to see and get to participate in. So
That was your first game?
that was my first game ever there.
Right?
Okay, well, let's get you up to Minneapolis this weekend.
Right? Let's go. I'm in.
Yeah. Screw your family. We need you on the road with the boys.
Well, Thanksgiving's Thursday. I got time. I can be up there on Saturday.
Oh, that's true.
That's
You
right.
could.
Right.
Patrick,
Get
it's
all the sides, get all
160.
the fixes on Thursday, and then travel Friday.
There we go.
They're 63, 63, and 8 all time. I mean, knotted up after 134 meetings. Here's 135. It's a hell of a rivalry, and I think this one might be as meaningful as any of the recent matchups, knowing the situation that Wisconsin is in, trying to get a fifth win to at least match last year's record.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more meaningful than previous ones. There have been some awesome matchups. One of my favorite ones happened a handful of years ago when Minnesota was top 10 and game day was there, and it was billed as one of the biggest games Minnesota had ever played. And Wisconsin went up there and beat them, and Quintez Cephas had a huge game, and it was snowing, and that was one of my favorites of all time. And so there have been some big games with big stakes. You know, the fact that it's coming at they have now scheduled it for the last game of the season every year, as you know, kind of that rivalry weekend, which I think is great. Indiana plays Purdue, and Michigan plays Ohio State, and Wisconsin plays Minnesota, and Nebraska plays Iowa, and all these rivalries get to share that same weekend, which I like that. And that means that this game is going to often have really high stakes, and some years soon, I hope, you know, the Badgers are going to be playing for a bid into the CFP, or they're going to be playing for a trip to the Big Ten championship game, or at least, you know, let's hope playing for a good bowl bid. And you know, that's where this team is trying to build towards. And this season it doesn't look likely, even with a win at Minnesota, the Badgers would move to 5-7, which, as we know, 6-6 gets you at a bowl game. 5-7, you get to go to a bowl game only if there are not enough 6-6 teams to fill all of the bowl slots. As it's currently looking, it looks like there will be enough, and so there probably won't be a spot left for the Badgers. If there is, though, they go based off of APR, which is an academic measuring tool, and Wisconsin's really strong there. And so if there is a spot, Wisconsin would have a shot. But it's a long shot. A lot of teams would have. A lot of those 4-7 teams, 5-6 teams would have to lose and make sure that they don't get to 6-6. So not worried about that just yet. Win the X game. That might be Wisconsin's bowl game right now.
Yeah, Patrick, and that game you mentioned a couple years ago with game day being there and it's snowing, I was there as well. You know, surprising fun fact. I was out at that one before I came to see one at Camp Randall. So maybe just some more good, more reason to send me up there. But
no kidding.
Yeah, exactly. So, but with this game coming up here this weekend, just with what we've seen over the last couple of years with Wisconsin trying to get an identity and going kind of away from what they had, going to the air raid, and now these past couple of weeks with Carter Smith in there especially, it feels to me, Patrick, like the Badgers have found their identity, and it's very similar to what the identity they had before.
You're right, and it better late than never, I guess. But it really makes me wish that Wisconsin could play some of these games over that they had early in the season when they were struggling more than they are. I think about that Maryland game, and I think if they played them again right now, that game would go a lot differently, and wouldn't one extra win look really good on the ledger right now. Even the game against Iowa, that game unraveled so fast in that first quarter just because of self-inflicted mistakes, and many of them were kind of coming from that quarterback position that Wisconsin never had a chance, and that game just snowballed and they were never in it. And the way they're playing now, which I'm not here to suggest that they have an explosive offense right now, but they are playing a ball control style, which is, it's an identity that we've seen at Wisconsin, seen to be very successful. They're not turning the ball over, save for a couple in that Indiana game when Wisconsin was trailing and trying to come back. They've been really clean with the football, not creating a lot of, not being flagged for a lot of penalties, and then bringing in a defense that is just suffocating and making big plays. And so, if you could go back and play some of these games over, you feel really differently about it. And those are the recipes that give me a lot of confidence going into this Minnesota game. That this Minnesota team is a little bit wounded right now. They suffered a really, really gut punch of a loss to Northwestern last weekend, and I think that they're ripe for their teams maybe headed on different trajectories going into this game. And Wisconsin's playing with a lot of swagger, particularly on the defensive side, where they've got these outside linebackers that are just pinning their ears back and attacking. And one of the things that I'm loving is that Wisconsin's not having to send major, exotic blitz packages to get home. They've got outside backers who are just beating their man and beating one-on-ones, and Reiger and Posa and obviously Daryl Peterson, who had 3 sacks. So that it's a fun brand of football to watch when Wisconsin's constantly in that offensive backfield.
Speaking of fun brand of ball to watch, I guess it's more puck to watch than it is anything else. The new men's hockey rankings are out after the Badgers swept the Michigan State Spartans, the previous number 1. Wisconsin jumps from 7 to 2 in the country.
Right.
The only
How
team
about that?
in front of them is Michigan, who Wisconsin split with earlier this year. The Badgers are as good as any hockey team in the country. We're used to this on the women's side. We take it for granted on the women's side. The men's right now, the men's hockey team is as good as anybody in the country.
Yeah, they are, and they're playing. They're playing with, again, another team that's playing with a ton of confidence right now. That and just talking with somebody who was on that trip, that they went to that weekend thinking that they were going to win both games, and to say you're going to go into the number 1 team in the country and do that, a lot of times you go into that and thinking, well, that would be fun if we could split. There was a real level of confidence that they were going to go in there and that they would be better than them. And maybe that's because of what they did at Michigan previously, where they went to Michigan and they were able to split those. And even though that was a split, they thought they could have had the first game of that series too, that they lost in a tight one and dominated game 2. And so they are playing with a fun swagger. And this town is better when the hockey program is got it rolling. I've been here when it's been really good. And it'll be fun if this whole season unfolds that way. They've got a little bit of off time now. Then they go to Notre Dame, and that Big Ten rival Notre Dame in early December before taking a little bit of a break here. But unfortunately, we don't get to see them at the Kohl Center until the new year. But maybe by that time they'll be number 1 in the country. Who knows?
Oh, I like that.
Talk about number 1. Mimi Collier goes number 1 in the Major League Volleyball draft yesterday. And Carter Booth also ends up in Dallas, 19th overall. This program's reaching the end of its regular season, getting set for a long postseason run. But how impressive it is that not only has Kelly built a roster from within, but he brings in the number 1 pick in the draft in the transfer portal. I am never short of compliments for what Kelly Sheffield and that Wisconsin women's volleyball team has done.
Yeah, he's certainly figured out the transfer portal as well as anybody has. And Greg Gard gets a lot of credit for it on the basketball side, and deservedly so. But Kelly Sheffield's really mastered that with bringing in, and he's bringing in Big Ten rivals players. And Mimi Collier came from Oregon, and we've imported from Penn State and Illinois and Indiana,
Sarah Franklin,
and Minnesota,
right? Michigan State.
Exactly. Yeah, Michigan State. Right. Exactly. And bringing in these players who are national caliber per athletes. And it's weird to me that they do the professional draft while the season is still going on, but that's okay because Wisconsin does have 2 matches to go here. They play at Northwestern on Wednesday, and then they wrap it up at Minnesota. Kind of a fun weekend for the Badgers, being at Minnesota in football on Saturday, and the night before there's a volleyball match in Minnesota, Wisconsin against a ranked Minnesota team there. And then you look ahead to the NCAA tournament, and I would think Wisconsin's going to be able to host at least those first 2 games, or first 2 matches, I should say, at the Fieldhouse. And that, as we know, that's a huge advantage for that program to be able to host. And so, as good as they've been in the transfer portal, I don't know if you guys saw the recruiting class that they put together again on National Signing Day last week, but I think number 2 in the country for next year in terms of freshmen. So some years, Kelly Sheffield's going to figure it out by importing some transfer portal kids. And then some years, he's just going to say, I'm going to take all the best 17-year-olds in the country too. But whatever recipe, it seems to be working.
Yeah, and on the basketball side, Greg Gard seems to be having recipe working as well. They had the tough loss to BYU last week, but now we head to holiday tournament time for men's basketball. And this is really kind of an area, Patrick, where they have been fantastic over the last couple of years. They've won back-to-back holiday tournaments. They're going for 3 in a row this year with the Rady Children's Invitational, starting things off with Providence on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this team responds. Friday was humbling for them, and I thought it looked like a team that had not played a major conference opponent just yet, and the game looked fast. It seemed like BYU was a step faster at most spots on the floor, and Wisconsin was just a little bit sped up in that one. And so I don't think that that's an indication of where this team is big picture. I really don't. But they've got to prove that now. And Providence is a good team that's going to give them all they want. Providence is a high scoring team. They're averaging like 95 points a game. So this could be a really up and down game on Thanksgiving afternoon. And then if they can get by that one, hopefully they get a date with Florida, who's a top 10 team and obviously the reigning national champs, and another just like early season benchmark to see, all right, where are you early in the season and what have you learned from that BYU game and how can you advance? Braden Carrington, the reserve guard for the team, did a little media session this morning, and he said he was asked kind of about the response to that game against BYU, and he said they've had 2 practices since then. They practiced once in Utah before leaving, and then another time in San Diego. And he said those are the 2 most competitive practices they've had all season. And guys were just really getting after each other. And he said that he took that as a really good sign that there was a little bit of an edge after getting humbled in that game. And a little bit of a, like, we need to get better because that showed we're not where we want to be at all in November. And the good news is you don't have to be in November. You got a lot of time to figure it out. And that game won't hurt them, that BYU loss. That won't hurt them at all. But you'd like to start stacking a couple of these feathers in your cap in the non-con that will really influence seeding for an NCAA tournament down the road. Wisconsin got that win over Arizona last year at the Kohl Center, and that game held up and was a big reason why they got a really favorable seed in the NCAA tournament come March. So this weekend provides them an opportunity for that, and also a lot of team building. They're on a long trip. It's like a 10-day road trip from Utah to San Diego. I know they went to the zoo yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing a community service project today where they're going to go to a food pantry and kind of put together some Thanksgiving meals. The team did that last year when they were in LA. They were there right after the wildfires in LA had just erupted and went to a food bank and helped build boxes of meals for families. And so it was a really meaningful engagement last year. And so they wanted to repeat it again. And they're doing that this afternoon out in San Diego. So doing a little goodwill while they're out there as well. And hopefully they can get a couple basketball wins too.
Patrick, we appreciate the time. Go get the axe.
Yes, sir. Let's have a great weekend out of it. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
YouTube versus Spices.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game. If you missed Drew and KB, you missed out on this.
Today we welcome Steve Post to the program. Not everybody can say they ran in a sausage race.
The Padres were playing the Brewers, and I was following the Padres around the country. Then I got to know those guys really well. So I remember I followed them up to Milwaukee, and the manager was Bruce Bochy. I had the wildest time with the Padres about a week before that in Miami, and I threw Bruce Bochy's minibar out of his hotel room window and destroyed it, and it caused $467 of damage. So Bruce Bochy sees me, and he says, "Poltsy, you owe me $467 for a minibar, and we had a meeting. You're not allowed to stay in the same hotels as us anymore." The traveling secretary banned me from staying in the same hotels.
That's awesome.
So I was in Milwaukee, and that day, Bochy says to me, "Why don't you come down and sing to the players in the dugout?" So I sang this song called 98 Pounder. And then he said, "Why don't you go out in the field and shag fly balls while Tony Gwynn takes batting practice?" So this was like Ferris Bueller's Day Off for me. I went out, and I'm sitting there, and these security guards come up to me. They go, "Are you Steve Poltz?" And I go, "Yeah." And they go, "Oh, they want you to come sit by Jerry Coleman while he calls the game." And Jerry Coleman was the voice of the Padres. And Jerry Coleman, legendary guy, managed the Padres a little bit and then became the voice of the Padres. So they let me sit by Jerry Coleman while he calls the game.
Oh, that's so cool.
I did that, and then Jerry Coleman was laughing. I had him smiling. He goes, "Hey, how would you like to sit next to the Uke next inning?" So he brings me in. I get to sit by Bob Uecker. I'm sitting there with Uecker. He couldn't have been kinder to me. And then a security guard comes back up. He goes, "Hey, they want you to run the sausage races in the 7th inning." And I go, "Are you kidding me?"
What a day.
And so this truly was amazing. And Poltz becomes Polish sausage. I go out there, and out of 5 sausages, I took 5th.
Drew and KB are talking sports and stuff every weekday from 2 to 6, right here on The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In June of 78, Darkness on the Edge of Town is released, Bruce Springsteen's follow-up to his breakthrough album, Born to Run. The album charts at number 5.
In the darkness on the edge of town. In the darkness on the edge of town.
Boston-based band The Cars released their debut album. It goes to number 18. It features the singles Just What I Needed and My Best Friend's Girl.
She's my best friend's girl. But you used to be mine.
In July of 78, the Rolling Stones released Some Girls in the U.S. The album and the single Miss You both hit number 1. In August of 78, Boston released their sophomore album, Don't Look Back. The album goes to number 1 in the U.S., selling 4 million copies in its first month.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Aretha Franklin songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Number 2, Freeway of Love. Number 1, Respect. Hear more from Aretha Franklin and similar artists now. Search for Aretha Franklin on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
I'm Jason Flom, founding board member of the Innocence Project, and my new podcast is Wrongful Conviction, available on iHeartRadio. On Wrongful Conviction, I interview a different exoneree every week and help them to tell their incredible stories of tragedy and triumph against impossible odds. You've got to hear it to believe it. Wrongful Conviction from iHeart Studios, available now on iHeartRadio.
What you waiting for? Let's go. Make sure to make us a preset on the iHeartRadio app so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Wisconsin's home for sports and stuff. We are the Game.
Let me talk to him. Let me talk to him.
I'm getting flashbacks. This is how we used to open up the old Matt Schneidman show.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm getting flashbacks to when I ripped my pants on the dance floor.
No.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever get those fixed? Do you have another wedding coming up at any time soon?
I do have one coming up. It's not until next year.
So not.
Well, I mean, we're almost at the end of this year. I've got one in.
Yeah.
My niece is getting married in May.
It's like when Greg Gard would go to the
sister's
podium in
getting married
early
in May.
January. He's done it twice
Yeah.
and been like, oh, haven't seen you guys since last year.
My niece is getting married on
Oh.
a Sunday in May, which is a little unusual.
Sunday in May better than Sunday in September. I got a buddy who's doing that to me.
Sunday? Oh, in
Oh, man.
September.
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, Brielle got we got the save the date the date from Brielle. It was because we got a lot of things scheduled next spring, and it fell like right in the middle of where it's like the perfect weekend.
Good.
Oh, sweet.
So, I mean, I would have canceled other things if I had to.
Yeah, family, you have to.
Yeah, absolutely. But it just kind of fell where it was. Nevertheless, I will have pants ready for that to go, and hopefully Dave has his pants fixed for his sister's wedding. I mean, you got time.
You can get a different pair of pants too. I mean,
that's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
just buy
it
another
is.
pair.
It is way too far gone, I think, for any sort of tailor to try and fix.
They've been totaled.
It's
like when you
they
total
have
your
seriously
car.
been totaled. Yeah,
and
it's too much. So yeah, it's just gonna need to be new pair of pants. So I'll have
Have
to
they
go
been
to.
married? Are they
Did you have
done?
a ceremony for them?
Yeah, are they
I did not
cooked,
have
or
a
do you
ceremony
still
for
have
them.
somewhere.
They're still in my room, just kind of sitting somewhere.
Have you washed them?
What's the point?
Oh, they're just
They're just sitting there,
soaking it all in.
Quick update
What do you
from,
think
across
happens
the hall.
down there?
Got some apple.
Was that a deconstructed apple pie?
Yeah, it didn't come out as nice as I would have wanted it to.
Aw.
But it is apple pie, and I'm confident that it's outstanding. I do like apple pie.
Oh, you like?
I don't
I
like
hope
pumpkin
so.
pie.
I mean, there's
I don't
nothing
like
more
pumpkin
American
pie.
than that.
There is nothing more American than apple pie. There is only one thing that's almost close to
Guns?
as American
Baseball.
as apple pie, and it's Bruiser's Bites.
Okay.
Time now for Bruiser's Bites.
Bruiser's Bites brought to you by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, wiconcretecoatings.com. It's the holiday season. You're going to have a ton of people over, and wouldn't it be great to show them off? Show off your great garage, right? Your garage floor, your garage cabinetry. It's probably not possible to get it done before the holidays. But think about it this year when everyone comes to town and you're not even interested in telling them to go to the garage. Next year, if you visit wiconcretecoatings.com and get a consultation set with our guy, Andy Fisher, and his boys and gals over at Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, you can make your garage a special space, and maybe you can host Thanksgiving out there. Think about that.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Great space. I think it's an unused space in a lot of people's worlds, their garage. It's storage. It's where you put your car. It's a livable space in a lot of people's homes here in the state of Wisconsin. A lot of people love garage culture.
My neighbor parks his cars outside,
So-
and he uses his garage as a living space.
Exactly.
I don't subscribe to that myself, but to each their own.
I couldn't
To
do that
each
in
their
winter.
own.
But
Well,
that's just
if
me.
it's heated, that's the thing, right? If you want,
No, I mean, for his
no,
car.
I want my car. Like I don't want to brush
Oh.
off all the snow. in
No,
the
it's a great
winter.
point. It's a great point. That's why you get a 2-car garage or a 4-car garage.
I have a 3.5 car garage.
That's a big garage.
I do have a big garage. I like my garage.
I
Well,
would
you're
just
gonna
like a
it
house.
more with Wisconsin
I can't afford that
Concrete
either.
Coatings. wiconcretecoatings.com. Visit them there and see all the great work that they'll do for you. We'll begin with the enemy, the opponent. PJ Fleck was asked about the Wisconsin-Minnesota rivalry, and Minnesota has won 3 of the last 4, knotting it up at 63, 63, and 8 all time. Here's Fleck on his opinion on this rivalry matchup.
In the rivalry world, you want to bring the rivalry back. And I feel like it's a very healthy rivalry right now. or either side could win that every single week. And I think that's comes from the trusting the process piece and that mindset and that belief. We still have a long way to go. I know that, but it's a very healthy rivalry.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, you consider that it's tied after 134 matchups all time. But my question for you guys is about the man in the tie.
Yeah.
PJ
and the
Fleck,
sweater vest.
63-41 is his 64-44, excuse me, is his overall record at Minnesota.
Okay.
Is he better than we give credit as a head coach? I know he's annoying. I know he has his antics, but I think if you're 20 over 500 in your first roughly 100 games with Minnesota,
yeah,
that's pretty damn good for a program that isn't necessarily loaded with great talent.
I think he's perfect for Minnesota in a lot of different ways. I have a friend of mine whose son played for PJ Fleck for 4 years.
Whoa.
And, he understands, like, yeah, even some of the players kind of roll their eyes at some of the antics, but it does seem like he does care about the kids. They do win, like you said, they're 20 games over 500. I think he's perfect for what they are. And I don't want them to go out there and get a great coach. I like Minnesota kind of being, kind of knowing their place where in the college football landscape. I know they felt like they got a glow up when they poached him from Western Michigan, and maybe they did a little bit because Western Michigan had just gone and lost, by the way, to Wisconsin at the Cotton Bowl when PJ Fleck came over. But, I mean, he's fine. I think that Minnesota is about as good as they're ever probably going to get.
They've made 6 bowl games in his 8 complete seasons. This year it'll be 7 bowl games in 9 years. They're 6-0 in the bowl games with him as their head coach.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, there's a value to winning your bowl game. I know that there are a lot of people who view bowl games as nothing more than exhibitions. Okay, I mean, I see where you're coming from in the standpoint of, is it for a championship? No, but you still get to win your last game of the season. I think there's value in that.
Yeah, I think so too. But PJ Fleck, Minnesota, they've taken 3 of the last 4 axes here. He is annoying, yes, but he's got that program. He's got that team humming, and I think they're very comfortable with him and where he's taken them. So it should make for a very fun matchup.
Well, hoping to wreck that day for the Minnesota Gophers is Daryl Peterson, who has 5.5 sacks over his last 2 weeks, and 3 of them came last weekend in their victory over Illinois. 6 total tackles, 3 sacks, 2 pass deflections, and a forced fumble for DP, as he was named Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week.
No way, DP.
Yeah, boy.
Really impressive work by him. 5.5 sacks over 2 games is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that is legit production. My question for you guys now is, has he vaulted himself into being the next NFL linebacker for the Wisconsin Badgers?
I think there's somebody out there who's going to have him play on Sundays. I think he looks like an NFL player to me. He looks like somebody who could, but then again, I mean, sometimes guys mature at different ages though, too. I don't know that I necessarily would have thought that Nick Herbig, who's had a fine NFL career,
he's been great,
would have had the career that Zach Bond is another one. I don't know that he would have, turned himself into a first team all-pro performer for the Super Bowl champions when he was at Wisconsin, but he's certainly done that. I mean, Joe Schobert was a Pro Bowl linebacker for the Cleveland Browns when he played. So, I mean, I think that Daryl Peterson kind of falls into that same category, that they're good college football players. I don't know that that's spectacular. You knew that J.J. Watt was going to be a star, except everybody in Houston who booed when he was selected in the first round by the Texans. But he showed them that they were wrong. You knew, at least I felt like I knew, that T.J. Watt was going to be a superstar when the Packers passed on him. Not that I'm still bitter about that, but you kind of saw that was the trajectory of some of those guys that were coming out of school. With Daryl Peterson, I think he's a good player, and I think that he could, the way that he's matured this year, really maybe kind of blossom at that next level, like some of those other guys, like I mentioned, like a Bond or a Schobert.
Yeah, or maybe an Andrew Van Ginkel.
You know what, Dave? That's a great example. That is that is a perfect example of a guy who really got just special when he got to the NFL, first with Miami, now with Minnesota. That's a great example.
Yeah, and he's someone who, I mean, coming out, he didn't have, a ton of that fanfare and a ton of that, oh, this dude's going to be a stud, but, he was a really good linebacker for him and ended up getting a shot. And I think Darrell Peterson's going to be in the same boat. He's probably going to be a day 3 pick, somewhere in there in the later couple of rounds. But still, I mean, that can be someone who can be impactful. You get him into the right situation and let him loose. I think Darrell Peterson absolutely can be that next guy to make the NFL. Whether he has legit star power, we'll see. But I think he could be that next guy in this line of Badgers linebackers to head to the NFL.
Yeah, how about the Packers? Come on. Every once in a while, can they just take a Badger?
Right.
That'd be
just
nice.
If he's a 5th rounder, if he's on the board and they pass on him,
Well,
like
they
Jared
did.
Aberdarius.
Vince Beagle.
It just doesn't feel like they do it enough.
They don't.
The
Well,
Steelers are doing it annually, every year.
The Steelers do it annually, but the thing that just will always stick in my craw is like he was right there. They had a positional need, TJ. He was right then. Instead, you decided that Kevin King was going to be the guy, and you're going to trade out and go for Kevin King instead of TJ Watt.
The Steelers, when they're drafting these guys, they're all productive. I mean, Nick Herbig has been really good. Keanu Benton has been really good.
Another great example.
Obviously, TJ Watt's a stud.
Isaiah
Loudermilk's
Loudermilk.
been on the team for a handful of years now. I mean, they're grabbing Badgers and they're performing. The Eagles grab guys from Georgia, and the Steelers grab
Packers grab guys from
Wisconsin.
Georgia too.
Yeah, Georgia's a good D, especially 3 years ago when they won back-to-back. I mean, this is a legit program at Georgia. Makes a lot of sense, but I don't know. I'm spoiled, I guess, as a Steelers fan watching Badgers every week.
Spoiled rotten.
Talking about the Packers, their playoff chances per New York Times, The Athletic, their playoff model, with a win goes up to 94%. With a loss goes down to 74%.
Interesting.
It's currently at 83 entering week 13. Is there, in your mind, any question that they're a playoff team?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, they could, poo themselves the last 6 games of the season. That's why all of these games are important. They're against divisional opponents. You got 2 against the Bears who have a better record than the Packers do. You can say whether or not the Bears are for real or not, but proof is going to be in the pudding. That's why you play the games. That's why you have to go head to head. And they haven't gone head to head with a lot of these guys. Whether or not Detroit is for real, I think it's kind of a put up or shut up kind of year for them. But right now, the Packers are the number 6 seed. Now, the playoffs obviously don't begin today. But is there any chance that they're not going to make the playoffs in my mind? I mean, I think they will, but is there a chance? Sure. Jordan Love could get hurt. I like Malik Willis, but I still don't know that he's going to lead them to a playoff berth. They've been dealing with injuries all season long. You don't want Micah Parsons to get hurt because still you need Lucas Van Ness to get in there. And when Parsons is in there wrecking, wreaking havoc and wrecking defenses or wrecking offenses for the Packers defense, that's how we've seen them, kind of change what their identity is. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anything's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, until it's fully clinched, you never truly know, and no one's been able to clinch a playoff spot yet. All that we do know is that the New York Giants will not be in the postseason. But
they've been eliminated.
Yeah, they have been eliminated very early on. They pulled the Colorado Rockies, and they are just going to be not even close. But yeah, there's a chance the Packers don't make it, but I still feel pretty good about where they're at and what they can end up putting forward. But, we've seen this team put together bad games before when you expect them to play well, whether it's been against the Browns, whether it's been against the Panthers. We've seen them have some bad games. And, even with the chances here coming up, there's very real possibility that they could struggle there. Ultimately, I do think the Packers do get into the postseason, but yeah, there's a chance there's a lot of season left.
Well, if you're a Bucks fan, like we all are to a degree, you're hoping that because there's a lot of season left, 64 games to be exact, 8-10 so far, they'll have an opportunity to turn it around. But it's been ugly without Giannis. They've lost 6 of 7, 5 in a row. This is Bobby Portis after last night's 115-103 loss to the Blazers.
Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. So you just got to keep doing the things that you do on a daily basis. Same routine. Don't change up your routine. Keep the same routine. Keep the same swag. Keep the same energy. Be you every day. And then things will start to turn around. Just because things aren't going great now doesn't mean that in the near future we won't go on a 5-game win streak, 6-game win streak.
Well, I would hope that they don't keep doing the same because what they've been doing has not been good enough. I think that there needs to be some level of readjustment. My question for you guys is, are they completely lost without Giannis? And what does that say about this team in terms of their future for years to come?
Well, that's why I've been saying that until you know that window is shut, you have to keep Giannis.
Right.
I know that there's been an effort for a lot of people, mostly in the national media, to say that Giannis needs to be moved on to somewhere else. But you have to understand, a lot of people didn't live through empty section night at the Bradley Center because there were nights where there were maybe on a Tuesday night, if it wasn't against the Lakers and Kobe was playing, you'd get maybe 5,000 or 6,000 fans at a Bucks game. It was depressing. The Bucks were irrelevant, and you don't want to go back to those days. With Giannis, they haven't been irrelevant. They've been one of the most relevant teams in the NBA, but they've also not been selected to play on Christmas Day now for a couple of years in a row. They've been bounced out of the first round of the playoffs since they won the NBA championship in 2021. So are they lost without Giannis? Yes. Can they find an identity without Giannis? Not a good one, in my opinion. I love Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is always going to go down as Bucks royalty, but Bobby Portis isn't going to be able to lead this team really anywhere. Miles Turner isn't going to be able to lead this team anyway. These are good complementary players, but Giannis is the leader. As this team goes is how Giannis goes and vice versa. So until they find who their next superstar is going to be and they don't grow on trees, Giannis is a once in a generation or maybe second generation. Bucks have had some good players. Ray Allen was a fantastic player, Hall of Fame player. Kareem, Oscar, Giannis.
That's like in the last 70 years. I'm exaggerating, but like
you're not exaggerating by much.
You know what I mean?
No.
They've had
I
some
mean,
great players. You named 4 in 50 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Sidney Moncrief was a really, really good player. It's hard. It's hard to Terry Cummings was a good player. But these guys are hard to come by, and that's why if you're asking the question as to can they find their identity without Giannis and be like, I don't know exactly what the exact wording of your question was.
Yeah. How lost are they without? If he was
very,
done,
very.
How cooked are they? If he couldn't play again this year,
cooked, done. They're done. DOEN done.
I think that's poor team building. But.
Well, maybe it is, but that's how you win a championship, though, and championships are forever.
They're going to be cooked as the turkeys on Thanksgiving, just
I just
completely dry and lifeless, and nothing there. But
they made the NBA Finals with Giannis out for very crucial games in the Eastern.
Sure, they also had Chris Middleton.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah,
this team has been
Brook
poorly
Lopez.
built.
Yeah, they have been. Well, but they didn't have a choice but to be poorly built.
Name a team in the NBA that if they lose their superstar, that they're going to be still staying on track. I mean, you look at a lot of teams in the NBA. If they lose their star player, whoever their number one is, are they going to be playing well? I mean, look at the Pacers without Halliburton. You know what are they doing? They're not doing much at all. So
we saw how the Bulls wandered into the wilderness for 25 years after Michael Jordan.
Yeah, until they had Derrick Rose, and Derrick Rose, I mean, that lasted a very short time, but. Yeah, they're absolutely going to be lost without Giannis. They need him back. I mean, they still do have 60-plus games remaining in the regular season. So, yeah, they can turn some things around once he does get back there and maybe get themselves on a bit of a run. But, yeah, they're going to be lost without him for now. But luckily, it's only a 1 to 2 week kind of injury. It's tough to go through it here in the meantime, waiting for him to get back. But once he does, you'd have to imagine they're going to start playing better. They're going to get themselves in a decent position to at least make the playoffs. And then we'll see what kind of run they can go on starting in April. But until then, you just need Giannis back. And whenever you're without him, you're going to be lost.
We'll end with this. As I mentioned when we had Patrick on in our previous segment, a pair of Badger volleyball players were drafted yesterday. Mimi Collier goes number 1 overall to the Dallas Pulse, and Carter Booth 19th overall to the Dallas Pulse. This is Collier ongoing number 1 in this year's Major League Volleyball draft.
It was so much fun. We're having a little watch party in the locker room right now. The whole staff is there. Some of the girls are there. And it's so nice just being surrounded by people that I love and experiencing a moment like this. And it's something I'll never forget.
It's another year, another superstar. Sarah Franklin was an incredible player. She was up there in the ESPYs for Female Collegiate Athlete of the Year. I mean, she was paired up. Franklin was with Caitlin Clark, so not going to win.
Well, yeah,
but you're in the argument.
Tough sledding.
Wisconsin volleyball stands here to go for another championship title. Just thoughts on this program. I think that the women's programs here in particular are incredible.
They're elite.
Soccer had a great year, round of 32 exit in the national tournament. Another year.
That was a tough 1-0 loss to Baylor, too. That was a tough one.
It's my understanding, too. And Megan, who's the SID for the women's basketball team, is also for the women's soccer team. So they played UIC in Chicago, and then she drove down to, I believe that was hosted at Notre Dame, maybe.
It was at Notre Dame, yeah.
So she drove that and then drove back. So spread thing, long story short, to get to the beginning here, Wisconsin women's volleyball going for another championship run here. I think that certainly spoiled from a Badgers fan perspective.
Yeah, I mean, you look at most of the sports right now have done really well. We talked about men's hockey a few minutes ago, now ranked second in the country. And one of the things that I said to Patrick Herb is that we just take it for granted that the women's hockey team is going to be ranked number one. And the job that Mark Johnson has done has second to none. The job that Kelly Sheffield does is second to none. And he is able to recruit nationally. And Wisconsin is a national brand on an emerging sport in volleyball that's gotten more and more and more popular. And to bring in Mimi Collier from Oregon, she leads the team in kills every single night, just like Sarah Franklin did last year. And, I know Charlie had, a shoulder injury earlier this year, Charlie Fierenberger, and, she's back and she's one of the best setters in the Big Ten as well. And she's from the West Coast. I think she's from California, if I'm not mistaken. So he recruits well nationally. He recruits well in the portal. There's nothing that Kelly he's so well respected throughout the entire country and in the volleyball community. Yeah, I mean, all of these sports, football's had a down year, and that's problematic. You look at the women's basketball program right now, they're 6-1. They haven't been 6-1 in almost a decade. So things are really on the upswing. You just need to get that engine that drives the truck. Got to get that fixed. You got to get that squared away. But they've been on an upswing the last several weeks.
They put a lot more cash into the women's basketball team this year,
in
particular. Right, and it's at this point paying dividends. Charlie's dad, Matt, I believe his name is the Love Madison, the professional league head coach. So he's here.
I did not know that.
Unique. Carlini plays.
Yeah, Laura Carlini. Yeah,
plays for Charlie's dad. And then she coaches Charlie. So it's this triangle of, was dad hard on you at practice today? Are you going to be hard on me at practice today? But Dave, you're a fan of college volleyball. I know it for a fact. So you watch this program dominate each and every year. I'm sure you got a level of passion for what they do.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a fantastic program. What Kelly Sheffield has been able to do, continually bringing in the top talent and having this team. I mean, they are a powerhouse. I mean, they are a blue blood in college volleyball. I mean, they are like Ohio State in football or Duke in basketball, things like that. Like they are that program in volleyball that all the best players in the country want to go to.
Along with Nebraska. Nebraska's really good too, and they've got a nice little rivalry going on.
Yes, they do, and it's fantastic. But I mean, Wisconsin is right up there as one of those teams in the country. And Kelly Sheffield, he's turned that into a dynasty, turned it into a powerhouse. It's incredible to watch. It's incredible to see what they've been able to do. And it just raises the profile of Wisconsin even more.
Yeah. And there are certain, like Florida's been really good. Texas has been very, very good in women's volleyball
Penn
in the last
State.
several years. Sure. And to have Wisconsin in that mix, again, in an emerging sport that's getting more and more popular, the rising tide lifts all ships, as they say. Again, got to get football squared away once and for all. But the infusion of cash that the women's basketball program is getting, the infusion of cash that's been promised into the football program, that's what's going to lift this program.
Yeah.
But you look at some of the other ancillary sports that's not football or men's basketball. Man, it's a pretty good time to be a Badger fan right now.
And Kelly Sheffield's been one of the leading voices of getting volleyball more popular, of trying to push that, to get more of those TV games, to get more of that coverage. for this sport, for this team. He's been incredible at it. He's done a fantastic job doing it.
Yeah, it's a great program. A lot of great programs here. I wish that there was some form of collective winning percentage aggregate that you could look up. Like, hey, all sports at every school, what school has the highest
They
win
have that.
percentage?
That's the Learfield Directors Cup.
Yeah, it's the Directors. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I need to find that. I mean, I was trying to find it right now to see maybe where we stack up in season as like the year goes on.
We have to take a break.
Yeah.
So why don't you look up Learfield Directors Cup standings?
Okay.
And we'll have that answer for you coming up. Also, from Forbes Sports, longtime Packers beat writer Rob Reichel. He's going to join us coming up in a few minutes as well. Thank you for Bruiser's Bites. You want to? Do you have a?
No.
Want to tell us
Always
about?
it's brought to you by Wisconsin
There you
Concrete Coatings, wiconcretecoatings.com.
Had to take care of that. All right, we'll take a short break. It's D.N.D. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, Dave Gasper. Stay with us on the game.
My music hits me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
After a weekend in Nevada, the Milwaukee Admirals return home Wednesday when they host the Iowa Wild for the first time this season.
Hits the Rockford line, delays. Afanasiev in the slot. He shoots and scores. Igor Afanasiev.
Pregame coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and the iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October 67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
Yeah, ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. My baby used to put me together. My baby used to put me together.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967 coming up.
Here are the top Fleetwood Mac songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Don't Stop.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop using me. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone.
Number 2, Dreams. Number 1, Go Your Own Way.
You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another day.
Hear more from Fleetwood Mac and similar artists now. Search for Fleetwood Mac on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In June of 77, Ram Jam have a top 20 U.S. hit single with a cover of Lead Belly's song Black Betty. Chicago area rock band Styx have a U.S. top 10 album Grand Illusion, including the top 10 single Come Sail Away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
In July of 77, the Grateful Dead veered towards progressive rock, adding strings, horn, and a choir on their ninth studio album, Terrapin Station.
And the whistle is screaming.
In August August of 77, the King dies. Elvis Presley's found dead in his home in Memphis, Tennessee at the age of 42. Detroit rock vocalist Iggy Pop releases his second solo album, Lust for Life. It's his second collaboration with David Bowie. New York's Billy Joel releases his fifth album, The Stranger. It goes to number 2 in the U.S., with the single Just the Way You Are rising to number 3.
I want you just the way you are.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets, place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
iHeartRadio. Soundtrack. Flashback.
Warriors, I'm out to play. It bombed in the theaters, but it's now a cult favorite. 1979's The Warriors gave us an unbelievably cool song from Joe Walsh with an even better version recorded by the Eagles, In the City.
In the city.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, coming up in just a few minutes, Rob Reichel will join us from Forbes Sports. He covers the Packers. He's been a longtime Packers scribe. Just a couple of quick updates as far as our schedule is concerned, because we'll have a full show for you tomorrow from 10 until 2, like we always do. And then on Thanksgiving, no local shows, live local shows, except for on the Game Radio Network, Packers Game Day from 8 until 10. So on Thanksgiving Day from 6 until 8, there'll be a best of on your local affiliates. Best of No BS with Billy and Armin. We will be back on Friday, full No BS live with Billy and Armin from 6 until 10, reacting to the Packers game as well as previewing the Badgers Golden Gophers game on Saturday. The three of us will have a half show.
That's right.
We'll be on from 10 until noon live, and then best of the rest of the day. So it'll be best of us as well as the best of Drew and KB from 2 until 6. Monday, everybody's back except for, well, I've got a plant day off, so it'll be the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
But Tim Allen will be in for Billy and Armin on Monday. So that was the trade-off that I gave him. I said, yeah, I'd like you to work Friday, but I'll give you Monday off to give you a long weekend.
Where do Drew and KB add in the 2 hours that we do? Where their load management seems like they get extra.
They do.
Dang
they do. They get a little extra load management. I'm sorry.
What,
to
Nick?
say.
They have they kind of
true.
beat us in seniority a little bit. And,
they do beat us in seniority by a lot. I mean, it's
they're
much older.
They get those perks.
Much, so much older.
I mean,
they are
incredible.
so much older.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So, but they will be back on Monday with a live show as well, and then then it's off to the races. And after Thanksgiving is when you can put up your you can put up your Christmas trees.
Yeah, tree's not up yet. All the other decorations have been for a while for me in my apartment.
Well, again, it's pick your battles. That's not a battle I'm worth.
I don't mind. I've always said it. I don't mind joy and whimsy, and it's a good time of year for that type of stuff. We just watched Wicked, the movie, a couple nights back.
Okay.
I'm a good sport.
Okay.
She's a great sport. She watches football all Sunday, every weekend with me. So
that's there you go.
That's a prerequisite.
I did watch the Wicked film. The new one is out.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Are there any surprises in it?
I've not seen the new one. But
you saw the old one.
I saw the one from last year or whatever with
Ariana Grande.
Yeah, part 2 is now out. Wicked for Good is out. In theaters.
I'm not sure I'll see either one of them.
Talking
That's
about,
okay.
I certainly will not.
We've made mention of Madison weight loss many times here on the program.
Of course.
Madison weight gain, if that's out there, they could use that because everyone on that cast is rail thin. It's interesting.
Sometimes, for someone who's like, hey, man, might want to mix in a salad. For these girls, you might want to mix in a sandwich.
Cake.
Mix in a burger.
Just
have a chocolate
much
chip cookie.
Calories as you possibly can get. They're a little thin, but that's okay.
That's okay. All right, coming up next, Rob Reichel will join us from Forbes Sports. He has covered the Packers for a long, long time. and longtime friend, and he will help us close out the show. Coming up next, closing ceremonies as we talk about the Packers and the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day, just a couple of days away. And then the Packers get a kind of a mini bye week. You get to enjoy the Badgers game on Saturday, and then it's Christmas season. I don't believe in Christmas season before it's Christmas season, because if it was always Christmas season, it would never be Christmas season. Let me lead you
good point.
into the break with that little pearl of wisdom. It's D.N.D. Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
You are listening to D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
Boston band Aerosmith released their debut album. At Ferris Borley, it would be re-released in '76 and yield a top 10 hit, Dream On.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, right on that.
Elvis Presley's live TV special, Aloha from Hawaii, is watched by more than 1 billion people worldwide and introduces the world to the rhinestone white jumpsuit. In February of '73, Alice Cooper has a #1 album with Billion Dollar Babies, along with 3 top 40 singles. Elton John also has a #1 album and his first #1 single with Crocodile Rock. Paul McCartney and Wings have a #1 single with My Love, and the Stooges signed to Columbia Records and released their final album, Raw Power, produced by David Bowie. In March, Pink Floyd releases the now legendary Dark Side of the Moon. It goes to #1 and becomes one of the best-selling albums of all time.
And everything under the sun is you, but the sun is a great spot on you.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Daryl Hall as he flashes back to give us some insight on the Private Eyes video from back in the day.
So we're up there, and I'm looking at this stupid video, and they have us jumping around with these stupid suits on. And I thought it was a joke. I thought the whole thing was a joke. And then all I could think of was, I got to get up in the morning, and about 2 hours sleep, and I got to go to Cincinnati. That's what I was thinking. If you look at me singing in Private Eyes, that's what was going on in my head. And the other thing I can tell you about that video is that T-Bone Walk was the first video that he had ever done. And he said, what do I do? What do I do? I said, you be the guy that just stands there and doesn't do anything. And so if you look at that video, you'll just see T-Bone going like this. That's what I told him to do.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Daryl Hall and all your favorite artists.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
Led Zeppelin released their 5th album, Houses of the Holy. It goes to #1 in the US and the UK and yields the top 20 hit Dire Maker.
But I still love you so, and I can't let you go. I love you. Ooh, baby, I love you.
The Doobie Brothers released their top 10 album, The Captain and Me, with the singles Long Train Runnin' and China Grove. And in June, Joe Walsh and Barnstorm have a top 10 album buoyed by the single Rocky Mountain Way. Also in June of '73, George Harrison scores a #1 single, Give Me Love, from the #1 album Living in the Material World. And Chicago's 6th album goes to #1 with 2 top 10 hits, Just You and Me and Feeling Stronger Every Day. In July, 600,000 Jam Watkins Glen for Summer Jam, the largest rock festival ever held in the U.S. It features the band, the Grateful Dead, and the Allman Brothers. And in August, those same Allman Brothers released their first album after the death of Duane Allman and had their only hit single with Ramblin' Man, which goes to #2.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
For the band on the run, band on the run.
In January January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sells 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of '74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, Get a New Drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number, and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better when you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up.
D.N.D. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, Dave Gasper here on the Game Radio Network. Joining us now, longtime scribe that has covered the Green Bay Packers for many, many years now for Forbes Sports. We welcome into the proceedings Rob Rice. Rob, how are you today?
I am terrific. How are you, Doug? How's the group in there?
We're doing all right. It was Thanksgiving Day. I came to the Madison office today, and I walk in, and there is a full spread of food. So that's never a bad thing, having their Thanksgiving celebration.
That's right.
As I've been told, this is what we just do every Tuesday. So you should just pop in a little bit more often. So I may wind up doing that. This Packers team.
Next time, Doug, we'll carpool over there.
Perfect. I love it. This Packers team, they've certainly had their ups and downs this year. They're riding a little bit of a heater the last couple of weeks, especially defensively. How much of a game wrecker, in your opinion, has Micah Parsons been since he's been in Green Bay?
Doug, I was telling someone the other night, and I wrote this, and I've written it through the season. I mean, he's been worth every bit that they gave up for him in that trade and then some. I don't know what that pass rush would look like, honestly, without him right now. Because, even the other day when Wyatt gets a couple of sacks, Parsons drove the quarterback, drove McCarthy right into Wyatt on one of those. I mean, they're blocking him at times. And you know this, Doug, with 3 guys, 2 on most times. Arizona made the ridiculous decision in the middle of the season there to try to block him with 1, and we know how that ended. I mean, Myles Garrett will be the defensive MVP, but I would think he's got to be second. I guess I haven't studied that close enough, but Rashawn Gary's hit and miss, and he certainly has missed more than hit lately. I don't even know what that pass rush would look like, guys, if it wasn't for Parsons. I guess they'd be blitzing Cooper a lot more than they have, so you see 56 coming from different spots on the field from time to time. But his year's been a little more quiet, but he's done exactly what they've asked him to do. Cooper, that is. But I mean, Parsons is the best defensive player, Doug, that they have had there in my mind at this point since Reggie White. And I know Charles Woodson was unbelievable, and Clay Matthews had a tremendous stretch. But this guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and to get him for 2 first-round picks that should be in the 20s when it's all said and done, probably between 24 and 32, and an aging defensive tackle, it's going to go down as a really good trade for Green Bay.
Rob, when you look at the backfield, it feels like running backs have certainly struggled to get going this year at the same level as they did last year. And it could be a product of the shuffling of the offensive line and the inconsistency there. But Sunday, you saw a guy emerge and deliver what I felt was the best rushing performance of the year, and that's Emmanuel Wilson. Do they have something here in terms of a second running back that you can rely on alongside Josh Jacobs?
Well, I think they always have. Jacobs is a hard guy to take off the field, and I'm sure he fought like crazy to be out there on Sunday. He doesn't want to come off the field. He is the old school traditional back that you just give it to him 24 times a game and you move forward and the number 2 back. It's not like Ben Johnson played all those years in Detroit and he's doing now in Chicago, for example, or whatever. It's, Jacobs is just a bell cow and they've always been good with that. But maybe down the stretch, you do a little bit more with Wilson than you have in the past, because you're exactly right. He showed the world a lot, I thought, on Sunday. That first touchdown where he runs 51 over in the hole of Blake Cashman, and that looked like the old Oklahoma drill, didn't it, where he just takes the guy on and carries him back. Because Cashman had a 5-yard running start on him on that play, and Wilson just carried him back to the end zone and found a way to score. And even that second one, too, he got tripped up in the backfield, and he carried 2 guys to the end zone with him. So he's certainly strong enough and powerful enough to get those tough yards. You're right. The offensive line has been a problem. It's mediocre at best. They completely swung and missed on the Jenkins move to center, let Josh Myers walk, and they got worse at 2 positions in the process. Maybe they figured some stuff out here on Sunday with Anthony Belton playing the entire second half, at least in terms of getting the run game going a little bit. I think Morgan's going to be more technically sound as a pass rusher, but I think Green Bay's path to success in the last 6 games in the postseason is going to be lean on that run game and lean on the defense more than anything. And if that's the case, Belton's probably going to be your right guard, I would think, moving forward. And then the run game's got a chance to really get going. But the bottom line is when Jacobs is healthy, he's going to be the guy that's going to get 20. Maybe he can get 10 carries now moving forward out of Wilson, because they found a nice formula, I thought, the other day, right? I think they had 64 offensive plays and 42 of them were runs. So that's 65% in the run game, 35% in the pass. It's not going to stay that high. I mean, they're going to want to be around that 45 to 50% pass ratio, I think. But they want to lean heavy on the run game. And if that's the case, both those backs do have a chance to really have an impact. And I think you're going to see Anthony Belton really have an impact, too, down the stretch.
Yeah, Robin, with that run game getting going, that could open up things in the pass game as well. We've kind of been, begging for Jordan Love to get unleashed a little bit more this season and maybe have a few more, deep shots and deep throws, trying for those big plays. And we just saw Dan Campbell said Kirby Joseph is going to be out for this game. We also know Terrion Arnold, Brian Branch are beat up as well in that Lions secondary. Do you think that this could be an opportunity for Jordan Love to expand on the deep throws and take more shots here in this game?
I mean, you would think that, right? It lines up that way. I still think the best way to beat the Lions is to keep, Jahmyr Gibbs and St. Brown and that ridiculously good offense that they have, which is second in the league in scoring. I mean, Green Bay had the ball against Minnesota like 37 and a half minutes or something to that effect. And if they can keep the ball 34, 35 minutes against Detroit, I think that's still the best way to beat those guys. But you're exactly right. There's going to be opportunities to take the home run shot. They didn't do it the other day against Minnesota. You saw Christian Watson is obviously their number 1 deep threat right now, with Bolden being out and Reed not back yet. And he ran a lot more intermediate and short and underneath stuff. I mean, but he put on a nice display of obviously knowing the full route tree, which I think a lot of people underestimate just how good Christian Watson is running that full route tree. But he should have some opportunities. Golden will be an interesting guy to watch. Can he make it back and play in this game on Thursday? Because then you've got an opportunity from a couple spots on the field at times to go ahead and take some deep shots. Detroit's been vulnerable, as beat up as they've been in the secondary. I still think, the 2 best ways to beat this team is to get after Goff's tail and make him move, because once he moves even 18 inches off the spot, he's nowhere near the same quarterback that if he can sit in that pocket and pick you apart. And then number 2, I would bang away with Jacobs and Wilson and try to possess the football and keep Jahmyr Gibbs on the sideline, because I know Stafford's going to probably win the MVP or Drake May or whatever, but to me, Gibbs is the best player in football, the most explosive player in football. And if they can keep him on the sideline, especially because he rotates. He probably plays only 60% of the snaps because Montgomery still gets such a big chunk. If you can keep that entire offense, and especially Gibbs on the sideline, I think that's your best way to beat these guys. That's what they did 2 years ago on Thanksgiving in 2023. They got after Goff and beat the nonsense out of him all day, and they did the same thing really in Week 1, guys, at Lambeau Field. If they can do that again, I think they've got a real path and a chance to win the game.
Why don't you think Christian Watson gets more targets than what he gets? Because, as you pointed out, he produces when he gets those targets. He doesn't get a lot of them.
Yeah, and then you look at a guy like Wicks, who, usually there's about a 50% success rate on those targets, right? Or the Musgrave, it's even lower. I don't know, Doug. It's a great question. They obviously like to spread the ball around. And again, I think Watson is right now maybe first coming into his own. And I think he's got a chance to be really, really good next year. More than a year and a half, it'll be by that point in time, 20 months even removed from that knee injury. He's their number one without question right now, Doug. And I would think they'll ramp up his chances down the stretch, especially with, when you consider the fact they don't have a tight end on the roster right now that's worth a lick. So Reed's going to be a big help in that department just to give them another weapon. I mean, the tight ends right now really just have to become blockers, but I think they're going to lean heavily down the stretch. If you hit it, Doug, I think it'll be the run game, Watson, Reed, and a little bit of Dobbs. And then everybody else kind of fills in from there. You could see Watson. I mean, what's he been back, Doug? 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that much. And I've been even remarkably impressed with what he's been able to do in the month or whatever that he's been back. And I think he gets better from here. I think he did lead him in maybe in targets the other day with 7 or 8 or something like that. Doug. I'd like to see him get the better part of double digits. And he's proven, Doug, and he certainly did. He certainly did this against Minnesota. You ask him to run any route out there, he can do it. I mean, the guy's remarkably bright. He was a 38 Wonderlic. There's not a route he can't run. He can go play any position you ask him to on what they ask their wide receivers to do. He can line up anywhere on the field. I think they'll lean more heavy on him down the stretch. It'll be less of Golden than they probably anticipated. It'll be less of Wicks maybe than they anticipated. And I think the 3 moving forward in that pass game are going to be Reed, Watson, and Dobbs.
Rob, just a couple minutes left with you. We have an opportunity to maybe look at 2/3 through the season, how these two stack up with one another. Who's the better team coming into Thursday's matchup?
It's crazy. Detroit's out of the playoffs right now, isn't it? Because I still think they're a top 6-7 team in football, not just the NFC. I think honestly, guys, I think Detroit probably winds up winning the division. I think Chicago's fraudulent, and Chicago's schedule gets really hard down the stretch. I mean, all 3, if you look at the top of the North, Green Bay's win percentage, or the win percentage of opponents is like 64%, and then Detroit and Chicago is like 61. But I think Chicago's going to be the team that gets exposed here down the stretch, and it's going to the division's going to come down to Detroit and Green Bay, and Thursday will settle it. I think Detroit's still a click ahead of Green Bay just because of the fact that offense is so dynamic. Now, the offensive line they have isn't as good as it was a year ago. So Goff has been under more pressure. He's had to make more plays on the move, which he cannot do. I like Love much more as a quarterback than I do Goff to go win a big football game when he's got to make plays by himself outside the pocket or something like that. I just think on the offensive side, Goff has more around him. And Detroit's defense, and they've been beat up again this year. Nothing like last year when they had half the team on injured reserve. But, they're still in that, 10 to 12 range of most key statistical defensive categories. Green Bay's got the better defense. There's no question. Detroit's got the better offense. We're going to find out Thursday. There's certainly a path for Green Bay to go win this game. And guys, I think if Green Bay does win the game, they'll win the division. Because I think Green Bay at worst splits with Chicago, and Chicago's got some monster. I mean, they're at Philly this week, right? They go to San Francisco. They've got Detroit again. Chicago could easily go 2-4 down the stretch. So I would certainly think the Detroit Green Bay winner on Thursday is going to become the front runner to win the division. But right now, I mean, I think it's going to be a field goal game, but I would give Detroit a real slight edge, guys.
Rob Reichel from Forbes Sports joining us here to close out D.N.D. for this Tuesday afternoon. Rob, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you again next time. I guess we're together in Green Bay, but always appreciate your time and always love reading your stuff in Forbes.
All right, guys. I appreciate it. Have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks.
You as well. There he goes. Rob Reichel joining us from Forbes Sports. And that's our show for today.
There we go.
That's all I got for you.
You guys enjoyed the Nick, you enjoy the turkey. Doug, you enjoy the pie and the
I had the ham.
potatoes
The
and the
apple
ham.
pie was good. I had a tiny bit of mashed potatoes as well. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Coming up tonight, it's the season opening broadcast.